Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Hollywood After Dark, episode number 31. Today, of course, is the 22nd of July, 2021. It's been a day. I got slapped with this nice, neat, nifty privacy complaint. Why, you might ask? Is it because I talked about a specific someone who's been all over the news in these fandom all week long? Maybe. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? Welcome to the show tonight. It's been a very interesting day, to say the very least, at least on a personal level. I thought that, I thought I was done. I thought I was done talking about the Justice League motion comic. We had a big thing about it the last couple of nights, kind of said my final piece on it. And today was I woke up with the very interesting little gift in my inbox, and I'm going to be waiting for my guest to show up. Ty from Pop Culture Corner is on his way. He's going to be joining me again tonight. I don't think we're going to run nearly 4 hours. We have He-Man at midnight. We got the Bad Batch at midnight, and my ass still has to get up at some decent time in the morning. But when he gets here, we'll dive into this whole thing. It is pretty crazy. Let's take a quick look here at the chat to see what people are up to. Bradley asking, hope I'm doing well. Yeah, well, I got my girdle, my male adult abdominal girdle to keep my intestines in place. So that's cool. Is able to allow me to go shopping today, which was nice. So we have at least we have some comfort on that front. I did also get my ultrasound for the hernia scheduled, but not for a week and a half, which means probably the surgery isn't going to be quick after that, given how fast everything goes. I don't know. The surgery company, the surgeon's office, reached out to me today. So I got to call them tomorrow and see what they say. This should be a pretty quick thing. Everything I've been reading about hernia surgery is just the recovery time. So that's going to be fun. But hey, I can still stream, so that's going to be pretty cool too. Thank you very much for asking. Let's see here. Donovan says, the Snyderverse is dead. Bury it. Consider this mercy. I don't know, man. I've been saying that for a while, but apparently that makes me the bad guy. I mean that literally. It's always really funny to me when I talk about this, because I always say I would love to see more of it, but at this point in time, you can kind of tell it's practically over. And the people out there are like, no, why? No, it's not. I mean, come on. Hollywood is fickle. All right. Like, do you really? I mean, it's just, look, I get it. It's wishful thinking. People want to believe what they want to believe. They don't want to let go. The people that I've seen really kind of like hit this thing hard, like I said, they're in kind of the deny, like they're they've gone past denial. Now they're kind of in bargaining in that particular, the 5 stages of grief. I'm just waiting for acceptance. I don't think we're going to get acceptance for a while. So there's that. Yeah, they're getting kind of crazy over it, but I'm going to stop poking them a little bit. I might've angered a few of them a little bit too much, which, I get, and that's okay with me. But, thank you for your comment there. Just a random, very intelligent drink says, Jarbo, wherefore art thou, Jarbo? I'm right here, buddy. I'm right here. Hope you're doing well. Hope things are good. Rhea here is saying she's playing Monster Hunter Stories 2 on the Switch. Nice stuff right there. And let's see here. Batfan JKP says, I think the Snyderverse should continue in fan projects. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just saying, perhaps after this last week, maybe it's not the best idea to do that. Maybe it's not the best idea to really, go down that pathway for fan projects. Give it a little bit of time, sir. Let it cool. Let the dust settle. Let the complaints on YouTube come down to nothing, and let us go from there. Let's see here. Adam says, Matt, you say it won't be nearly 3 to 4 hours, but I bet it will become that by accident. Maybe. We had a great conversation last night. Ty and I have been wanting to get together for a while to talk. It was a good time. I had a lot of fun. Saggy popped up. Always enjoy hanging out with Saggy. Let's see. Eric asks, is it hiatal hernia? It's an abdominal one. I don't know if that's the term. It's just I have a large one in my gut. So there's that one. And yes, yeah. Well, Yvonne here says, Matt Murtaugh Jarbo, Lethal Weapon 3. Drake says, Jarbo's is getting too old for this shit. I really am. I'm not even 40 yet, and I feel too old for this shit. So we have to, comic book gaming fan here says, rip Snyderverse. Music Man here says, as much as I want the Snyderverse, it is over. And then Ryan says, H-Bart sent a super chat. I didn't even see that. Oh, there it is. Okay, there we go. Oh, H-Bart's here with a hot hit coming in with some scoops, apparently. Holy shit. Justice League 2 and 3 coming next year. Zack killed all Warner Brothers shareholders. So he now runs the show is what you're implying, H-Barts. That Zack Snyder has taken over Warner Brothers and Warner Media. He has usurped Toby Emmerich. Emmerich and Hamada's head are hanging on his wall like that photo of Wonder Woman from the Crimea War, right? All of those people are now they're at his feet. Either that they have bent the knee or they are corpses, and Zack Snyder is in control of Warner's, and he will then seek forth and start his own universe while continuing his other universe. But he'll make sure that all we get is Snyderverse all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. HBO Max won't be HBO Max anymore. All the budgets for the stupid shit will be cut, and it'll be nothing but DC all the time. Anytime, 24/7. If you want DC content, HBO Max is where you gotta go. Do you want to get a 24-hour live fan cam of Harley Quinn's apartment, complete with that special ultra premium purchase slot of getting a camera right inside her toilet bowl? That's on HBO Max, brought to you by Zack Snyder. That's my over-the-top pitch for that one. I think that would work out pretty well. Thank you very much for that one. Still here says hashtag LightCast. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to come out and make the claim. I don't want to come out and make the claim that it's a certain person. Eric here says Hollywood After Dark should go worldwide. Late night radio at its best. I love doing Hollywood After Dark, guys. I really want to do more of this. You know what I mean? Like, I really enjoy doing it. You guys seem to really like it. The interaction's been really good recently. The support's been amazing, and I'm hoping to get more people on. I got kind of inspired, actually, going on Ty's podcast last night. Ty's been at this much, shorter amount of time than me. But the reason why that's fascinating and why I respect his hustle is because it's not really a hustle. Like, I respect his ethic is the word I want to use. I don't want to put him down. I think hustle is kind of like a negative word, but it's his ethic that I can respect. And his ethic is to work to get people to come on the show. I like to do things solo. I just like to do them on my own time, and that's kind of how I operate. But Ty goes out there and he's able to get people like Mark Pellegrino from, Supernatural and from a bunch of other projects to come on his show. We got Charlie Talbert from Angus last night. I got to finally talk to him. That was pretty cool. And, he does a lot of stuff like that. So he puts the work in. And I have to give credit to him and his team because they've got a solid work ethic, and I wish them absolutely nothing but the best. So that's fantastic. Thank you very much for that one. All right. Let's see here. Drake here says, I want Snyder to do Secret Wars. His visual style would be incredible for that. Yeah, I'd like to see. Here's the thing. I want to see Snyder move away from comic books. I do. What I would like to see him do something like a Kurosawa film. If he's going to do anything, that's why Rebel Moon to me is fascinating, because it was a Star Wars pitch that, if I recall, was heavily influenced by Kurosawa. So, we know that Star Wars was influenced by Kurosawa. And we know that George Lucas and Kurosawa were actually friends. There's an interesting conversation, a little tidbit of a story that Bryce Dallas Howard talked about in the making of The Mandalorian season 1, where she had said that she had gone to Japan with her father back in the 80s, and they went and had dinner in Tokyo. George Lucas, Akira Kurosawa, and Ron Howard were all having dinner, and Bryce was there with them. And I'm like, dude, what? No effing way, man. Like, that would have been such an amazing conversation just to be a fly on the wall of, you've got one of the most, probably at that time, at least in regards to a Western sense, the most influential Japanese director at the time, one of the most influential American contemporary directors who had like a massive popular science fiction brand that was based upon some of the works of Kurosawa, as well as space westerns and things like that. And then you got Opie from fucking, Happy Days. She didn't say when this thing took place. So I don't know if this is like pre or post Willow. I love Willow. I ain't knocking Willow. But it's like, Ron Howard has directed a fair amount, but I don't know really where this was. So it's like at that point in time, fucking Opie. That's who he is. He's Opie. What was that show he was on with Andy Griffin, right? What was that show? I forget the name of the show. It wasn't Happy Days. It was the Andy Griffith show. That's what it was. But who was he in? Was he Opie in the Andy Griffith show? Who am I thinking of? No. Yeah, he was Opie in the Andy Griffith show. In Happy Days, he was Cunningham. Wasn't he Ralph? It's been so long since I've seen that. It's been so long since I've seen that. Neon Sci-Fi here says privacy complaint. Was it because you talk about name change? No. It's a person who's just being, in my mind, if it's who I think it is, and I don't know, I'm speculating. I'm offering up my opinion based upon something I believe that is protected under the First Amendment. If it's who I believe it is, then I believe this person is a petty bitch. And I'm still waiting for Ty to show up, So we'll see. I messaged him like a half hour ago. I'll send him a quick message again, see, because I want to get going on this thing. God damn fucking Twitter work. I hate Twitter. All right. Anyway, H-Bart's here with another $5. Thank you, man. It says, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Hollywood After Dark. I'm your host, Matt Jarbo, and today we're going to talk about fish sticks. All right. That's a thing. Austin Lean, how's it going? Saying, looking forward to tonight. Thank you very much. By the way, what is this, H-Barts? Like, fish sticks. I have no idea what that even means. Surun Itiami. I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna mispronounce your name. Says I don't wish my enemy a hernia. Yeah, they're not fun. They're not fun. It was Richie Cunningham. That's right. Thank you very much. I got it wrong. I mean, my knowledge is flawed sometimes. Peach Mango Pie asks, what is a valid privacy complaint? I don't get it. Basically, a valid privacy complaint would be if I showed off somebody's home address, if I showed off their home, like an image of their home, if I showed off, like their private information, things that were not publicly made available, you can argue that. If I talk about something with the intent of harassment or targeted harassment or bullying or things like that, then you could argue, then there might be an argument for like a defamation lawsuit or something along those lines. If anything, the privacy complaint through YouTube is probably, if there is going to be threats of legal action, it is literally just like the first step. It's like, I took actions to try to, stop this, whatever. It's so dumb. I'll play as soon as Ty gets here. I'll play the clips. If he's not here in a few minutes, though, he might have gotten distracted, and then I'll just play it myself, which is totally cool. H-Bart's here, another $2, man. Thank you. Says, just something random to keep the stream weird. Thank you. I appreciate that. Fish sticks. There we go. Matt the Doxer. No, I didn't dox anybody. No, I didn't dox anybody, and I can actually prove it, too. Lord Slug here says, the irony Jarbo got false flagged. Oh, dude, you have no idea how many times I've been false flagged. You have no idea how many times. It's happened a bunch. A privacy complaint is a thing on YouTube. There is definitely it's not even a privacy complaint on YouTube is like, again, I've gotten them before for covering like news events, or I got one when I had filmed. So back in 2011, Thanksgiving night, 2011, my girlfriend and I went to a Walmart in Porter Ranch, which is in the San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles. We went there to go get Xbox games, and they were open. They didn't close on Thanksgiving. This was like this is like Black Friday had begun. We got there right as they were kind of unleashing the Xbox games, and this crowd formed, and a woman was like knocked to the ground, and as she was trying to get an Xbox, the crowd went wild. She pulled out pepper spray. She pepper sprayed people. And my girlfriend and I happened to be there. My girlfriend had the foresight to pull out her cell phone and just record like a minute and a half of the footage. And then I tweeted out that, we were there when this happened. And a couple hours later, that story had blown up locally. and the media was asking for the footage. I put it up on YouTube and I hit fucking monetize on that shit, right? I hit monetize on that. And so I think within a week we made like $800 on that video. And in the popularity of it got to be so big, one guy who was in the footage, who was there in like that, I don't want to say a mob, but he was there in the crowd. He got real mad that like his face was visible. And he messaged me and he's like, I need you to take the video down. And I'm like, fuck you, dude. This shit's paying my rent for the month. You can eat my ass. You know, like, what are you talking about? Take it down. What is, no. And then he filed a privacy complaint claiming that, like, you know, him being at a Walmart, which is a public, as a public establishment, privately owned company, but a public, it's called a public accommodation is what it's referred to. And no, YouTube said, you know, like literally fuck off is what the YouTube said. They didn't care. So, and I've had a few more people like that too. Stuff like this is not something that is going to be argued. And the person who I believe has issued these privacy complaints, they don't have a leg to stand on because they put their own name and face out there. And all I did was talk about what is publicly made available. And it's kind of ridiculous. So that is where we find ourselves here. Hold on here. Mad1306 says, $5. Thank you, man. Says, it seems like Snake Eyes is getting bad reviews. I mean, obviously. Campy has said they gave away the post-credit scene in the trailer. I'm still going to see it on Saturday. I don't really have a desire to see it, man. I'm going to wait for it to go to Paramount Plus. Probably. Unless I'm really bored and I just, you know, like on like when I take a night off of doing this and I want to go see a movie, I might go see it. You know, I've seen some good reviews and I've seen some other horrible reviews. I saw some people getting really ticked off at it. And then also HBAR says, "Bro, real Elmo took my Twitter name." Well, you guys are gonna have to fight it out. What he's talking about here is Real Kermit Cinema, $5 super chat, says identity theft is a real problem in America. Yes, identity theft is a real problem in America. That is very true. That is very true. That identity theft is a big problem. But the thing is that unfortunately, to a lot of people, you know, identity theft is not anything that they'll ever really deal with. But also, you know, when you put your own information out there and someone responds to it in a public setting, that is not identity theft. That is just you not liking that someone's mentioning you, which, by the way, I've as a person, I kind of know a bit about that sort of thing. Not really the best look. All right. So, they put Stephen Colbert says here, hey, what's up, man? Says they put their own name and face out there. Understatement of the year. Very true. Very, very, very true, sir. Todd Fayer, $10 super chat. Thank you, Ben. Says, Matt, do you think if DC Comics used 1% of the genius Kevin Feige, the DCEU would not be in shambles right now? I'm going to tell you this right now, Todd, because you are, I mean, here's the thing. Kevin Feige is an excellent producer. No one will deny that. But a producer also knows how to put together a good, solid team of people and listen to those teams when they have ideas, and also knows how to delegate to those people the right job in order to see it. It's like Feige doesn't do every single thing. And so there is a bit of a misconception on that one. But when it comes to the DCEU, what the biggest problem is, Warner's has no guiding hand. I don't call Hamada the guiding hand. It's like with Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy at this point is no longer the guiding hand to Star Wars, and they're in a much better place. And that's okay. She put the right person in the right job. She finally did what she needed to do. Warner's has got Hamada. Hamada's coming off of horror movie franchises from New Line, you know, and remember his first movie that he wanted to do was The Trench, which was a horror ripoff, a horror take on Aquaman. And then that got canceled and New Gods got canceled. And it's like, you know, there's no control over there. There's no one, it's rudderless. There's no one controlling anything. So it's all a mess. It's all an absolute mess. And so that's kind of the thing to consider here, is that if they would listen to somebody who loves the properties like Jim Lee and just listen to what Jim Lee has to say and then do that, they would be in a better position. But the problem, though, is that you need a producer who's able to lock them into a centralized vision and then do the proper amount of team building and then delegation. And that is what Feige does. Feige's central job with Marvel, by the way, with the talent and to finesse the talent to have them come on for these roles. He understands his key talent. He understands what he's best at, and he has people that work well in other ways that he's able to delegate to, like Lou D'Esposito, Victoria Alonso. They are goats, and they don't get as much love as they should, in my opinion. But they're both fantastic at their job, and the team is expanding, and they are bringing in the right kind of people. If DC wants to succeed, you don't have to copy the Marvel formula. You just have to get competency behind the freaking projects. Oh, did I lose audio again? Son of a bitch. God, it doesn't tell me. It doesn't tell me when I lose audio. But thank you very much for that one. All right, you know what we're going to do? I don't know if we're going to get tie-in or not. I don't know what's going on. I've DM'd him. But what I want to start off by talking about tonight, when we're talking about the situation with the motion comic, I wanted to start with a clip here from the 4 Nerds live stream tonight. And the reason why this is important is, you know, I have criticized pretty much everybody on here, and I know everyone on here, and I've criticized them for how I feel the situation was handled. They finally addressed it tonight. I wanted to listen to they talk for probably about 15 minutes about the whole thing. I just want to play what Nicotina has to say, because it was his idea. And I think, like, you know, you can really kind of hear him and how upset he is for what went down. And I think it's interesting because we learned a lot more about the situation today. So let me just play for you guys this little bit right here.
To the Inception creator, the person who spearheaded this project, which would be to my left, Andre.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, you know, this was a really cool idea, and you know, at the time we had a lot of fun putting it together. Unfortunately, it was not handled properly, and it was not represented properly as it should have been. So I apologize to anyone and everyone who were excited for this project, who wanted to see this project come together. Unfortunately, like I said, it was mismanaged, and you know, today we're learning about some new details about why it was in fact canceled. And but I just want to let everybody know from the bottom of my heart, I apologize for any damage or anything this may have caused. This was supposed to be a fun charity event. It was gonna, you know, it was meant to bring people together. Unfortunately, it did the exact opposite. And if, in hindsight, if I would have known that this project would have led to these results, I never would have tried to push to have this done. So there is a portion of this that I do take responsibility for, because of the fact that, you know, this was my idea to begin with. And, you know, ultimately, you know, I reached out, you know, to certain individuals to be a part of this. And it didn't work out. And it sucks, because it would have been really cool. You know, we worked on this for about 2 months, I want to say. And total, I think it was about 2 months, Dawson?
Just about 2 months.
that. Yeah.
About 2 months. And halfway through it, that's when Matt joined in about a month ago. So, I mean, to say he came on last minute, late in the production, I don't buy it. That's not exactly accurate. Originally, this wasn't going to be a motion comic, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Originally, this was going to be a storyboard narration, and the storyboard was just going to be scrolling up the screen with some slight movements on the Jim Lee art that was already presented in the storyboards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't until Matt joined the team that he presented the idea of making it a motion comic, and that would involve a lot more artwork to be made in order to make it more of a comic as opposed to just a storyboard read. And then, you know,
Well, I mean, before Matt got involved, I drew some stuff to add to the storyboard because it was missing some, and it was just stills. And my work was finished before Matt came on. and then it was turned into a motion comic, and then there were issues with the artwork or whatever. So I was then asked to come back. This is just my personal experience. I was asked to come back, and of course I'm going to come back and help out and do some more work. Well, as you know, I drew maybe 1 or 2 images, and then they came back and said we're stopping the project. So
they, like I said, it kind of, you know, it goes around for a little bit on the subject, and they talked a little bit beforehand, and Ryan gives his perspective on it and how he came on in, and you can clearly see that Andre Nicotina is visually upset. And I know this whole thing has been very trying on him, and I've been critical of him. And at the same time, you know, Andre, like, I like you, buddy. You know, I like you. We've talked a little bit privately about this. I have no, you know, my big concern, as I said in my original video about it, was predominantly on the director, on Matthew Miranda. And a lot of people out there, I think, agreed with me, because when it all kind of hit the fan, what happened was a lot of people, you know, turned on to LightCast Matthew Miranda, and that, of course, ultimately is where I think the blame for how it fell apart ultimately lies. Now, the thing you have to remember about this is the fact that when you see, you know, these guys, and you hear them talk about how the project was supposed to come together, it was not supposed to be a motion comic. It was supposed to just be like an audio drama with some light storyboards and some light animate, you know, some little things here and there, and to just put out the story. That's what they wanted to do. And I have told them, I told Andre this today. I think I told Ryan this. I said, continue it. Just release the audio. If the audio's already been done, if when Matthew came on, you know, about a month into the project and everything else, then at that point, like, you know, if you still have the audio, then clean up the audio, put some music to it, some sound effects to it, and release it as an audio drama. There are tons of fan-made audio dramas for Warner Brothers properties. Pendant Audio did it for years, until they, if I recall correctly, started trying to sell merchandise that maybe ran a little bit too close to, a little bit on the too close side to Warner Brothers intellectual property, and Warner Brothers went in and shut them down. So listening to this, mostly what happened was they were cut out of the loop. Once LightCast Matthew Miranda came on board, which, to be fair, I just want to make this again abundantly clear. This is a screenshot from the Dreamscapes of Justice League, a motion comic title reveal from the LightCast channel, July 9th, 2021, that says here that it is directed by Matthew Miranda, that it is executive produced by Matthew Miranda, and it is edited by Matthew Miranda. So his name is all over this. And there's a reason why that's important. And that has to do with the fact that in talking about this on a live stream earlier today, I received this complaint. It's a case subject YouTube support team. Hi, $3 Theater. This is to notify you that we've received a privacy complaint from an individual regarding your content. Now, the thing you have to remember about this is that really they're saying here it's this one video, and they are saying that at 53 minutes is when there is a claim, and at 9 minutes and 33 seconds. So, you know, bringing up here the 9 minute and 30-second section, we can see that this is what I have on the screen. This is the image I have on the screen. And this is what I talk about in this particular section. I voiced my concern initially when this was talked about because of, well, LightCast, Matthew Miranda, who is, you know, listed here as the director of this project. Now, he's also producing it alongside with Maroof Hussain, who is the, his social media guy or one of the producers over there on the podcast or whatever. And Andre Fernandez, who is the Nicotina show here on YouTube, is also an executive producer, because this was generally Nicotina's idea. Right. And so they talked about this just 10 days ago, and within 10 days, or in 9 days, really, the project was canceled. And so a lot of people were really frustrated over the tracing accusations And one of the reasons why has everything to do with things that Matthew Miranda himself had said, which ended up being kind of patently false. So here is one of 2 clips I was able to put together to give you a better idea of just what he was saying and why people were getting upset.
Though, if you want to know the story, just Google Dreamscapes of Zack Snyder's Justice League at the art exhibit, and you can read the whole entire thing. Yeah. We took the creative liberties of bringing that to life by individually creating original art. Everything is original. We're not using the Jim Lee, art of any kind. So we're making everything original, and we're having fun with it. I think it's great.
Yeah, that's clear. So, I mean, that's basically about it right there. We can see that the general subject of who I'm talking about in this particular section is Matthew Miranda, aka LightCast Productions, or as he's listed in that particular clip, LightCast Podcast. And in that clip, he's LightCast Films. But that is, if you Google LightCast, that is who you're going to find. And then we can come over here to the 53-minute mark, where they bring up the next section of it, where they go after that. So this is what the next section of that is. It appears to be more enemies than he does friends at this point.
Yeah, I was watching the Film Junkies stream on this, and boy, was it very aggressive against Matthew Miranda. People,
it was.
I saw Amanda Colbert in that chat. I saw Cole from the Bear Queens in there. A lot of people, even Dave himself, was like, "Yeah, I try to warn everyone about this guy."
Yeah, well, here's another thing too, and this popped up, and I'm not trying to Will Rollins is Will Rollins, but I'm more about the images here. When talking about, here's, Matthew saying that he's they're canceling it, right? I mean, again, even this particular post here has a lot of gaslighting in it, as RJ said. But then earlier today, before Matthew got rid of his personal account, the RT Snyder Cut account, very much that they have a beef and whatever, but he says this is hate. This is ignorance ran by a group that will go right after me for purely making it clear. This is the group that ended the motion comic. I will not be silent about this. They are not fans. They do not do the research. They hate because of their own insecurities.
Again, why go after and attack other fans? That does not help anyone.
On his personal account. Well, but then he fucked up. He fucked up because he did this a little bit later. Another account that released the Ayer Cut, it's a different Snyderverse account because there's a lot of Snyder Stands accounts out there, was bringing up a comparison between Superman the movie and Zack Snyder's Justice League. Some of the shots that were similar. Now he says that's plagiarism here and tracing ridiculous. He should have watermarked Richard Donner #RIP.
Oh, that's just gross.
So yeah, you guys get the idea here, where we've seen these are the 2 complaints that I have that have been levied against my channel. And it's funny to me because at no point did I say anything or showcase anything that wasn't public. And Carlos here is like, which Jarbo is speaking? The Jarbo from the past, not this Jarbo, but I sound great. And then, of course, we're going to be we're joined here right now by Austin Lean, who from Pop Culture Corner, and Ty is on his way.
That's right. Yeah, he just texted me. I'm surprised I beat him here because I just woke up.
Yeah, I know it's late on the East Coast, man. Like it's really
for him. Yeah, we did a stream, and I just my sleep schedule has been all messed up, and so I'm on your time. I'm on West Coast, so it's
okay.
But I took a nap, and I'll probably be up all night now.
Yeah, I get like that. I like to take a nap in the afternoon when my kids go down for their nap. I'm like, ooh, finally. And then today I was like, I'm just going to go play Skyrim for a while,
That is also a very legitimate thing to do. Yeah, so that's a legitimate way to use your time as well.
If I wasn't streaming, I'd be playing a lot more Skyrim. I would definitely be doing that.
I downloaded it the other day and started playing it and was like, if I do this, like, I'm going to have to text Ty, dude, I'm unavailable for the next 3 months. I just love that game so much.
Oh no, 100%, man. I'm like, I downloaded it with the Game Pass, and I'm like, I'm just gonna do the single player campaign. I'm just finally gonna beat it because I didn't beat it 10 years ago when it came out. Then like now I'm probably another 100 hours in, and I'm like, I'm just now doing the Thieves Guild stuff. I've already
Right.
done like one of the DLC expansions and a few other things, and I'm just like
gosh.
cruising through. I don't even have a horse in the game. I just walk on foot. You know
It's
what?
fun.
Like,
It's
yeah,
fun. It's one of
yeah.
those games, and there's literally, I can't name any other game like that. Even like Red Dead Redemption, as much as I like it, you want to get on a horse because it takes some time, But like that game, yeah, you can just walk around and have fun. It's like it's incredible what they did with that game.
Oh, it's fantastic. One of my favorite missions was I didn't have a horse. So I had a
Okay.
mission where I had to go and like steal like a pure breed, a thoroughbred horse from somebody in order to like, sell it off to somebody else. And then I just like, I said, you know what, man, fuck you. And I used my persuasion because I had high speechcraft to tell the
Okay,
guy
yeah.
to pound sand and eat a dick. And he's like, all right. I'm like, I'm keeping the horse and I kept the money. I'm like, you give me the 1,200 and I'm keeping the horse.
And I'm keeping the horse.
And then the guy's like,
That's
all right, fine. And then as he was running away, I had this like clear shot and I have like a really high sneak level as well as like my archery skills are really high. So I just crouched
Savage.
down and I fired
Yeah.
off a shot and like hit him right in the back of the head. And it's like sneak damage 3 times and he died. I'm all like, man, I'm never this evil in this game.
Yeah.
You know?
It's only in this game or like these types of games that you're like you get to let out your true aggression. I was that guy that like I'd always pick up. I was always having to drop stuff because I'm always picking up everything I see. And
Yeah.
so
At this point, unless it gives me money, I don't care at this point in the game.
Well, yeah. Now, but when I was younger, I would do that. And so I remember when it got to fighting that dragon part. And I was basically screwed because I could run maybe 2 steps per minute.
Oh yeah. I've done that too, where I'm like, oh crap. Like I'm item management is a big thing for me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, how much can I drop? Like, what's it going to get me? Because at this point now, I'm just like, how do I just need to get materials to craft to get my smithing skill up to be able to then improve my weaponry. And like the best ways to do that are like mostly craft jewelry. So it's like find like the garnets and the rubies and the emeralds and the diamonds and then the gold to make them. And then you can like, that really increases stuff and you get money for selling them. So there's a lot in that game that's fantastic. Real quick here, Mike Oxlong, $2 super chat. Thank you, man. Says Dawn Guard DLC for Skyrim was amazing. # vampires. I haven't done the Dawn Guard. I did the Morrowind one. The Slothstein, whatever it was. And that's great because I got the ability to use my dragon shout and it has the chance to disintegrate my enemies.
Right.
And like that's dope.
Yeah.
Like, you're on full blast and it just eviscerates them and they just disintegrate in midair. And I'm like, yeah.
I don't think I played any of the DLCs, but I know it's included with the Game Pass version, right?
Yeah,
You
it
get
is.
all the
It is.
yeah. So I'm gonna get there eventually. I'm only a little bit in, but I'm gonna get back into it.
No, it's fantastic. But we did kind of get off track, which is okay.
I know, I feel bad. I'm so sorry.
No,
like,
it's all right. It's all right.
games.
Ty's messaging me like I'm taking the dog out and I gotta change my microphone. It's like, it's what is it? Murphy's Law, right? Anything that can go wrong will go wrong, so to speak.
Exactly.
It's all good. But what just to get back on the whole situation with the privacy complaint stuff, one of the things I found to be fascinating was the statement. Did you see the statement today that came out?
I did. I woke up and it was already somebody put it in my DMs. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. So I don't know where this came from, to be honest with you. I know Zeverfet is the one who posted it, but I had to clip it. Like I had to kind of create some images here. So this is coming in from Matthew Miranda. This is what has been shared. So I can legally show this. I can legally talk about it. It has been shared publicly. Right. So if not by him directly, then somebody else. Therefore, it does fall under fair use. I just have to make that abundantly clear in case someone gets a little litigation happy. But he says here, after stepping away from the show after 8 years and moving on from it, it has become clear to me that it was not the most important thing in my life. I have enjoyed every single interview on the show. Some guests became good friends and others continue to thrive. The goal of the show evolved into creating a spotlight for lesser known talent and highlighting their contributions to the films we love and educating fans on the hard work that goes on behind the scenes. And here's the thing. I'll fully grant him that right off the bat. I'll fully grant him that because when I first encountered LightCast, that's what I thought that it was. It wasn't until they started chilling every single DC EU rumor they could get their hands on that I started going like, what are you guys up to here? Like,
Yeah.
you know, this isn't really about like talking to stunt people or talking to actors. It's really about like, did you guys hear that Ben Affleck's coming back like every single time?
Right. Start becoming clickbait.
Yeah, very much clickbait. And so then he says, through the experience, I've always reflected after each show and interaction. Could I have changed here? Could I have done this differently? Is there a way to improve this area? Whichever the case, it was a learning experience, and that was the most fundamental thing I will be leaving with. And I'm like, all right. Like I get that, but it goes on. Here's a big little chunk of it, because the dude loves to talk. I mean, so do I, but you know, whatever. And he says here, after my departure, the amount of misinformation, toxic engagement, and continuous harassment, doxing of information, and personal attacks is disgusting and repulsive. Now, here's the thing with that though. There was elements of toxic engagement. I'll agree with. There was, you know, one could argue some harassment. The doxing of information, I'm not entirely too sure what that is, because I haven't seen anything private come out about him. I've seen stuff that is publicly made available, as we saw in the clip that I posted from my own stream when I took a screenshot of his YouTube video description where his own name is mentioned 3 times.
Yeah.
That was clearly something he took issue with. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, you put this out there. You put this out publicly. Multiple outlets wrote articles about this. So, you know, this doesn't fly. Then he says, now we are living in a post-truth age, and those views have reprehensible consequences. I do not talk about my personal life as I live a private life and respect the privacy of others. The amount of continuous and berating attacks I've experienced in the last 5 days is a reflection of the social media world we live in today, and the reflection of the post-truth acceptance of looking for others to blame for our own entitled behavior. My participation in this motion comic was because I believed in the humanitarian goal to raise awareness for AFSP and enlighten others of the Snyderverse movement through this fan-made project. And you know what? From what I was told was that he was showing this to a lot of people, and you know, like, not necessarily, and this is my interpretation of the information. I have to make that abundantly clear. Yeah. My interpretation is that it wasn't 100% on the, hey, let's go from there. Because, you know, last night Ty and I talked about the fact that Matt did run Light Post Films. That was his first attempt at doing a web series. He was trying to do filmmaking, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. I've done terrible web series. I've done terrible films. I've done terrible content.
Same.
I get it. But it's like, but you probably tell that there's, you know, once you kind of want to enter into that world, you're going to use something like this as a springboard. Let's be fair. And there's nothing, again, I don't have an issue with that. And I don't think anyone had an issue with that, right? There are people that have privately told me that they believed everyone involved was clout chasing. And I'm not the hugest fan of that terminology. I think like the 4 nerds, you know, they seem pretty genuine. You know, I'm sure they wanted to do it mostly because, like, yeah, I mean, look, they're true believers in my opinion. All right. Yeah. They're true believers in my opinion. And I think like they probably really just wanted to put something like this out there. Then you bring someone in like LightCast who is a producer. Yeah. And a producer's job usually is to look to making it as big as it can. And he said, like, so it was Matt's idea to do the motion comic. Yeah. So that wasn't Andre's idea.
Yeah. And just to real quick say, you know, because I've talked a lot with the 4 nerds and, you know, with Dawson and a bunch of the others, and yeah, they obviously today, like you said, you can kind of see you can see it in Andre's, you know, response. Like, it was never his intention for it to get like this and become this, and it kind of feel like,
what up, dude?
Oh, there he is. But I kind of feel like LightCast, you know, took the project, you know, and kind of made, like you said, you go on there when they announced it, it's Matt's name all over it. You know, you could, if you didn't know, you would have no idea that the 4 nerds or anybody else was involved. The creation of it, you would think it's all LightCast.
You would think it's all LightCast because he started calling it LightCast Films.
Yep.
And then even in the clip I showed from the other stream where he was talking about it, like, here, I can play it again real quick.
If you want to know the story, just Google Dreamscapes of Zack Snyder's Justice League at the art exhibit, and you can read the whole entire thing.
Yeah.
We took the creative liberties of bringing that to life by individually creating original art. Everything is original. We're not using the Jim Lee, art of any kind. So we're making everything original, and we're having fun with it. I think it's great.
So, I mean, looking at that, clearly we saw his name, Matt, at LightCast Films, and it seemed like he was the one who was in control of the project, and that he was the one who was behind the project. In fact, by that clip alone, you wouldn't even know that it was Nicotina's idea. Yeah. Just by that clip. And so you can tell that he was taking over and that he was trying to run everything. And because he was the director is in charge. He was executive producer overall, runs the project as well, from at least the back end perspective. And so it became Matt's project. And then the guy, though, I think it's Mariano, is only like 19 or something.
Yeah, he's a kid.
He's a young guy. And so, okay, now that gives us a bit more information in regards to like the tracing accusations or the referencing. You have a 19-year-old kid. That's different. That right. Puts a whole new light on that, in my opinion. And the fact is, like, they just, like, I think there was just a lot of miscommunication and a lot of lack of transparency. But what I got from the 4 Nerds clip from earlier on their live stream was that they were more or less kind of removed from the process once they handed the reins over to him, and that Matt was doing things on his own. My interpretation of what they said is that. And so I believe that ultimately, like, they kind of feel like they were just left to kind of hang out and dry on this one. Now, I know, Ty, you came in a little bit late. Did you happen to catch any of the statement? I was covering the statement that Matt had put out.
Yeah, I actually copied it so I could read it.
Okay, so I can get back to it right here. Okay. So he says here, as far as my overall involvement in the project, I joined very late in post-production and had very minimal participation. But Andre said that he joined a month into the project, and he's the one who said, let's make it a motion comic, and he's the one who started running with it. So how is that very late in post-production and had very minimal participation? If you're not the director, you're not the director if you have minimal participation.
Yeah.
Like what are you getting, fucking coffee? Like, what are you doing?
Listen, we talked about this a little bit last night, and I mean, not to speak ill of anybody. My camera's not on. Not to speak ill of anybody, but what he's doing here. And we talked about him last night being a great used car salesman, right? Because he can sell you anything. He speaks very well, and he knows how to phrase things in a way. But if I was Nicotina, if I was Dawson, if I was ACS or ZeroFet, I would take that as really disrespectful. Really disrespectful, because basically he's saying not to name names or name shows or whoever was the actual leader of the project, but it wasn't me. I joined late in post-production. Well, first off, listen, this whole thing is post-production. Like, most of it's like, piecing together, and like there's the artist. But most of it is a lot of post-production. It's a lot of work that has to be done. And yet Nicotina said he joined a month in after the project started, and he was the one who changed the idea and all this. Nothing adds up. Nothing adds up. He's saving his bacon. And I like Matt. I considered him a friend. I don't respect this at all. And Austin can attest to the fact that I've had problems with it since the start.
Yeah.
I know. A lot of people, as soon as they heard LightCast was involved, or they saw LightCast, that was the big issue for a lot of people. And I think, too, if you saw, I don't know, Ty, if you got to see the 4 Nerds today, they responded pretty much to that. And ZeroFet
said straight up, it was Matt Miranda that was in charge and doing all this, you know, because
Good for them.
like you said, that statement is kind of like
Super disrespectful.
Throwing it on them, and like you said, I would too if I were them, I would take that as like, okay, wow, you know. And so yeah, I was happy to see that on today's on Four Nerds today, that, you know, they were like, yeah, no, they kind of told a little bit more of the story. But
I got the notification while I was at Walmart, like with my kids. And I'm like, I was like, I'm like trying to listen while like pushing my daughter in the cart. And my daughter's like,
right,
I want that toy
like next to your ear.
Yeah. I'm like, and I got it's so funny. So I'm like, yeah, kiddo, daddy's trying to listen to this. He's got to figure this out, you know. And she's like, whatever, just give me a toy. I'm like, all right, fine, you win. You know how to negotiate. I saw Real Elmo here make a comment. What did he say? He said, something like, was it? I missed it, son of a bitch. Oh no, private investigator Matt. Look, I'll be honest with you guys. If something gets under, I don't want to say something gets under my skin. If something catches my attention and it smells fishy and it smells bullshit, I generally like look into it as much as I possibly can. Right. And if I find something to be fascinating, like I just dive into it. I look to see, you know, because I do like to do some investigative journalism work. I don't do it very often, but I know how to do it and I like it. And this has caught my interest because I know people who are involved. I do legitimately care about some of the people who are involved. And I also care about seeing this thing come out. But again, LightCast being involved set off every red flag. Like, it'd be like if, like, you know, Doomcock was like leading up a fan project over at the Fandom Menace. It would be a little bit on the weird side. Right. And the whole H-Bart's here, $2, man. Thank you. Says original art, original everything, LightCast. Yep, that's what he said.
I was gonna say, right, Austin. I was telling Jarbo last night that we gotta get some of his audience here that are very generous.
No, you all need to shut the fuck up. Y'all need to shut the fuck up.
He's like, hey.
No, man, I love my audience. They're awesome people, man.
Yeah,
like,
dude, they're super
great.
Engaging. I mean,
yeah,
you usually go live at the time that I'm up, so I usually check it out, but then also usually becomes game time at a certain.
No, I hear you, man. I hear you. Like, it cuts into my game time.
It cuts into your own game, exactly.
I'm like, I just want to like go to bed and like watch fucking Star Wars, man, but not gonna talk about movies. No, I love it. Anyway.
So talk to me. So your channel got
talk dirty to you or just talk?
Your channel.
I got a privacy complaint.
So what does that mean?
So I did bring this up a little bit ago before you came on in, because I was like I don't know how long you're gonna be, and I can't stall it for that much longer.
I know.
It's all good, man. But this is what it is right here.
Theater.
Yeah, like hi, we got a privacy complaint about you, and then they link to episode number 28 of the podcast, and they give the time
last night.
No, this is a couple days ago. I think we're on episode 31 now. And so they say, you know, 53 minutes and 9 minutes and 36 seconds. So I brought up those particular clips already, and generally all I say is, for the first one, is I bring up this image here of the LightCast video description for the Dreamscapes of Justice League, which is what I think that they were talking about. And then the second one, we were talking about how Matthew doesn't have a lot of friends. And at this point, people aren't really happy with them. And those are the two privacy complaints. Now, I'm not going to tell you guys who. I'm sure, Ty, you might have an idea, and Austin, you might have an idea, and others might have an idea. But I'm not the only person who he has done this to. Right. And but that is not for me. He or she. Yeah, he or she. I don't know who. I don't know if this did come from LightCast, but I'm not the only person today who has received a privacy complaint. That is the most I'll say about that. So I do have my suspicions. It's a little bit too a little bit too much of a thing. So I did reach out to LightCast directly, and because I do think that if he has something to do with it, then there's that. Then own it. Yeah. Then own it. Yeah. If you're mad at me, be mad at me. That's fine, man. So I sent him a message.
What is he on still? Because
he's still on. He is still on Instagram. You can still message him on Instagram, but he has more or less shut it down. I sent him this message.
Ooh.
Okay.
And, and look, I'll say this: I have been fucked by my own ego.
Yeah, listen,
So-
and if there's anybody in the world that this is not to drag your name in the mud, right? But you're very open about it.
Yeah.
If anyone knows about this stuff and how it works, it would be you.
It
right?
would be me. Yeah.
So when it happens, you're very privy to how it works, why it worked, and why it happened.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that, if I close my eyes and guessed, I know who I'm landing on. It sucks because if you're not the only one, that means this. The only way I could see this happening is this could backfire completely. Because I'm sorry, I get the hiccup. So keep going.
Sure. I don't know if it would. Well, I mean, backfiring. Here's the thing: privacy complaints, they don't do shit. All right. Like YouTube will say that they will. What it is they want to give you the opportunity to either edit the video, edit the thing they want you to edit, whether it's like blurring someone's face or blurring or cutting that part out, and then re-uploading it. And if you re-upload it, then it goes to them, and then it goes to the person who made the complaint, and then it's up to them to determine the whether or not they are allowing it to be re-uploaded or not. Right? They get kind of final say on it because it's almost like you admitting fault.
Right.
But if you do nothing, then they review it after 48 hours and then it goes away. And that's what's going to happen because I have showed nothing. I have not showed his face. I have not showed anything that wasn't publicly made available. And if this is him doing this, then it's not going to go anywhere. And if it's not him doing it, if it is somebody else who has done it, then coming out and condemning those actions, maybe through a supplemental third party, might be best. However, you know what? Some other things I can't talk about.
Right.
But I know that's not going to happen.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. And so it's that is kind of the way it is with this guy. So I do want to get back to the statement here because it does get a little bit more on the fascinating side.
Gets more juicy.
Well, because he just keeps talking. He's the kind of guy that if you let him keep talking uninterrupted, he'll eventually kind of, I think, give away the whole plot.
Right.
And
yeah.
so, because he talked,
mouth type thing.
yeah, he talked about the minimal interaction. Now, then he says that the decision was made that the artist would be removed and a new artist was brought in to correct the mistakes. However, the continuous false information and harassment to cast and crew continue to overwhelm everyone involved. Here's the thing with that, though, and just to kind of quickly touch upon that. The decision was apparently made, but it wasn't said publicly. And then also here, he goes from the decision was made to a new artist was brought in all in the span of like 24 hours.
Right.
Like there's the thing with Matt is when it comes to grammar and in his writing, he's not the best. Like he mispronounces words, he misuses words. Like he'll say, instead of like cast in the past tense, he'll say casted. And like, that's not a word. I've heard other people use it as well. And I'm pretty sure that I'm like, oh, you listen to LightCast because that's clearly where you would have heard that. It's like people who say runded. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Yeah, you're like, it doesn't. No one ever says casted.
That's not how you do it. That's not how it goes.
It's like they were cast in a movie. It's it is what it is.
Right.
And so, hold on. I think my damn phone is going on crazy.
Mine does that all the time.
I know. I forgot to put it on airplane mode.
Oh, you start vibrating.
No, so if you use XLR, Jarbo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if you have an audio box and you have a cell phone, the cell phone will cause interference on it.
Oh.
Yeah. Usually it's not a problem, but like something was updating anyway. So any of that information about the to bring in the new artist wasn't ever mentioned publicly.
All right.
Right.
Oh God. So when you bring up the image, right, and it says not to name names, as that will bring my own integrity down to their level. Now, is he speaking about there as in the toxic fans, or down to their level as in the people that were responsible?
Toxic fans is what he's. I think my interpretation is toxic fans.
Okay. All right. Well, see, that could be miscued.
Yeah.
That right there could be miscued. And then, to what shows continued to spread false information for their own monetary gain? I know who he's talking about there as well. Through YouTube monetization, collecting super chats to profit off harassment, personal attacks of others is purely disgusting. When LightCast has done this themselves.
Yeah.
LightCast has used the toxic fan base that they've built onto their channel, right? Then I don't think they ever did super chats. They didn't do super.
They
chats.
would do super chats on. He would do like super chats sometimes, and then the thing is they played up him and Taylor Murphy from The Cultured Nerd would really play up this like non-monetization angle,
and that they're giving it all to
they're giving it all away, and a lot of people
and shit.
Yeah, or they would like there was no ads that ran on Cultured Nerd and all that kind of stuff. But there was a Patreon. There was a Patreon. I think that had made it didn't make much.
Right.
When I looked at it last, there was a Patreon. And obviously there's I don't know if there was channel members for LightCast or not, but they were making money. They had AdSense on certain live streams. He would play music in the background so it would get content ID claimed, so there wouldn't be any ads. So they made sure to really kind of play it up like they weren't in it for the money. And here's the thing. Sometimes when you're playing the long game, you're not in it for the money.
Right.
The money comes later,
Yeah.
And the long game here, especially if you've looked into Taylor Landine and that whole Reddit situation and Marvel Scoops and Roger Wardell situation.
So I was the one who told Austin about all that.
Yeah. Did you? Yeah.
Taylor Landine situation when Austin first joined. I kind of told him because at that time Garza and Taylor and LightCast, their feud reignited, and Garza just let it all out and was just like, by the way, guys, this dude's name is actually Taylor Landine. Look him up. Because he basically got ran off the internet a long time ago for fake Marvel scoops or fake Star Wars scoops or fake Disney scoops. I don't know what it was.
It was a Marvel. It was fake Marvel scoops because there. And I think I kind of touched upon this last night, maybe. So to quickly recap for Austin, there was a Twitter account for an inside scooper named Roger Wardell. That he's like an anonymous account, but he would have all these inside scoops, and they were relatively accurate for a while. And then he disappeared. He just disappeared. But then randomly, a new account popped up called Roger Wardell 2. And Roger Wardell 2 started posting Marvel scoops. And this is the one that there's a Reddit thread that kind of links Taylor Landine and the Cultured Nerd to Roger Wardell, implying that they are the same person. And many years ago, I followed Roger Wardell 2 on Twitter. And just in the last 10 days, his account has been active again.
For the first time in years.
And for the first time, I believe is a long time, because I saw it pop up and I'm like, what the fuck is Roger Wardell 2 doing? Because, there's another guy named Viewer Anon that's an insider that is anonymous as well. And so him and Roger Wardell kind of were many people think that Viewer Anon is Roger Wardell. Okay. But this Roger Wardell 2 account is not Roger Wardell. Right. And yeah, so it's kind of half tied. I believe through this accusation on Reddit over to Taylor from the Cultured Nerd. So there's a lot of accusations about falsities and falsehoods and made up shit that have come out of this group of people for a while. And so
that's what they built themselves. And that's the problem. When you build a foundation out of mud, eventually it's going to crumble, right? And they built their foundation on scoops and stuff. The Batman thing, right? The Batman show that was scouting locations and yada yada yada.
Sam Benjamin,
the Sam Benjamin thing, which was actually it did start with Liz Wonder, but LightCast took that and ran with it to the point where Sam Benjamin, I think, even believed he was Green Lantern.
Oh, as far as I know, he never denied it. I think I made a crack
Yeah.
about like him playing Green Lantern in like the Justice League cut or like in
Yeah.
the motion comic or something like that. Like, oh, Sam Benjamin's in it.
No, he probably did actually. I'm assuming that that's what he was doing.
Yeah. I should really ask those guys about it.
Yeah, but
he was.
So when they built this foundation on this thing that was always going to crumble, right? They did themselves a disservice. And like I said last night, it's no coincidence that the day the Snyder Cut came out, Matt left. Matt was stepping away, right? And Josh came in to host the show.
It was like
right?
the day. It was like the day after.
Literally the day
before. The day before.
It was the day before. Yeah,
the day before. Yeah.
So and like no one ever was like, wait, what? Why? Like this is what it's all been building up to. This is the moment that we've all been waiting for. This is what it built up to, and this is the moment that you choose to leave. Like it just didn't make sense. But then he came back and did the interview with Zach, and he took all the good stuff, but let Josh kind of take all the brunt. And it seems like Matt is very good at that. Matt wants everyone else to take the brunt, right? He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to face the heat. He just wants to get what he needs out of the situation.
Well, I mean, this statement is just insane because, like, you know, because it goes on. You know, we were talking a bit about here at the bottom here, right? You know, he's like, I will not name names, but as that will bring me down, you know, the integrity and to what shows continue to spread false information for their own monetary gain. Now, I did a live stream about this. I know Sil did a live stream about this, and Sil and LightCast have bad blood.
Yeah,
going back to the TCN days.
If anyone knows what LightCast is about, it's Sil.
Yeah. And so it's just like, you know, the collecting super chats, like the profit of the harassment and personal attacks of others is purely like, dude, like a lot of people were also just talking about it. And the biggest complaint was a lack of transparency. And the biggest complaint was the other part was just like you guys not saying anything, like the silence and expecting it all to go away. Yeah, there were dicks 100%, but at the same time, this could have been managed so much better. Now he says this is where it gets fascinating. He says, however, the project fell short due to the studio response to end the project due to property rights and policies of the studio, which is also a terribly written sentence, by the way. Okay. This really is to respect the studio and individuals involved. The project was abandoned, but again, this is something that I asked Nicotina about. I'm like, have you seen a cease and desist? And he's like, no. And even Ryan didn't know about this. The people who were involved didn't know that the project was now somehow torn down by the studio. And as I showed in my very first video asking the question whether or not Warner Brothers will kill it, I showcased 2 Harry Potter fan films that were also not for profit, and that Warner Brothers reached out to them and they worked a deal with them. I think I think what they do is they just confirm that there is no profit making that's happening. And because transformative work is a thing, fair use is a thing.
So you think it was because they were, even though it was for charity, that's why, because they were making a profit. Even though they weren't making a profit, but because money was, I guess, I don't know.
No, I don't think the charity thing even mattered to them. Like, and that's the thing too, is like people who were upset, they blame Warner Brothers, but like it's all for charity. I'm like you can't hide behind charity. That word doesn't apply in business, period.
Okay. And again, Austin can attest to the fact that my number one issue was always the legality. It wasn't the project. It wasn't that it was being done. It was the legality of the situation. And if they were going to be able to do it legally.
Right.
But do you think he's hiding behind that now?
Yeah. Oh,
Kinda
absolutely.
Like using
absolutely.
that as a scapegoat.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like the thing is, Zach himself supported it, and he supported the idea of it. There was a lot of positive reception to it when it was announced, a couple weeks ago. And Warner Brothers, there was that call, this Twitter Spaces call that was recorded, where LightCast says that they reached out to Jim Lee. They sent him a message. That doesn't really mean anything, though. It's like, well, what message did you send him? You made him aware of a project. Okay. Like none of that even really matters because Jim Lee doesn't even own the artwork that like his name's on it and he's credited with it, but that artwork belongs to DC Comics because it's using their IP and he was probably commissioned to draw it. So the intellectual property rights owner is going to be the publisher. And so it's like, again, like all of these little things. And then like through the grapevine, I heard like, you know, they were just getting like pro bono, like legal advice. It wasn't like they had a legal representative. So like, I believe I heard that claim made and, you know, but this is just like a pro bono thing or someone they asked about it randomly on social media, most likely, you know, and that's my take on it at least. And so looking at the situation as a whole, you can start to see that like Matt bit off more than he could chew. And I think like when there was pushback, I just think his brain broke and he couldn't take it. I really think that. I just think like, you know, because at any point in time he could have come out because his first message, the first message that he said was in regards to the artwork, basically was like, I'm sorry you feel that way, but, you know, and then it was the second message later on in the day, the next day that was like, okay, we're going to go back. We're going to tweak the artwork, but nowhere in that message did it say, the artist has been let go. We're not using that artwork. He never said any of that. And then a few hours later, the project was canceled, and probably just because his two responses before closing it out was just so dumb and terrible that it doesn't matter. And so people just got crazy, you know, and there were people that were definitely trying to like stick a knife in him. You know, I get that. Like when I had my fallout a couple years ago, believe me, people who hated me came out of the fucking woodwork. All right. Like they were like, oh my God, there's jarbo blood in the water, man. Get this fat
for
fuck.
sure. People take it too far for sure.
Oh yeah. I haven't like, the thing is like, I haven't criticized Matt as a person. I think he's a bully, but, now I think he's a coward. And again, that's my personal opinion, based upon the made available information on a public level. But let's get into the final section of this whatever the pity me comment that he put out there. He says, my decision to end LightCast was not because of the motion comic or the false accusations and rumors. Moreover, it was due to the increased amount of harassment and continuous attacks, which came as a result of you not being honest and upfront about the motion comic. Anyway, after self-reflection of what the show had provided me in my personal life, I came to the conclusion that the show did not outweigh the important things in my life, such as family time and my own mental health. The community has preached about us united and coming together as one, but when a group of their own fans wanted to participate in something positive, they were brought down by their own. After this experience, I would like to not be a part of any Snyderverse related topics or discussions, and please respect my privacy and personal life. I appreciate the support from countless listeners over the years and your continuous support. I will always respect the time and dedication you gave to sit down to commute to work while listening or watching the show, and blah, 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 blah. And look, I mean, again, it's a very much a pity me moment there at the end, right?
Yeah.
I left because of harassment. No, you didn't.
Right.
You got caught.
And the whole, I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to be a part of I don't think anybody really wants him a part of it.
Dude, like I'm out there literally every day poking the Snyderverse bear, right? Like,
right.
You know, like I'm just poking him with a stick.
I know you. I know you are.
And I still want to be a part of it. I still want to see it happen, but I'm just like, reality, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's really what it is, you know, is that
we started talking about it today finally. Like about the reality and like what like the actual facts of the situation about the Snyderverse, right?
Yeah.
We've been talking about it for a while, but like we kind of all had like a sit down today and like vocalized about it finally. It was just like, guys, 2-year deal with Netflix. That 2 years
probably going to get extended.
That 2 years is a starting point, right?
Right.
Most likely it'll get extended, you know, depending on the success. And then,
sorry, go ahead.
People want to argue like, okay, well, Walter Hamada's contract's up in 2 years as well. Well, yes, that is also true. I understand that. But the Snyderverse has a limited time frame in my mind, or in reality, that it can succeed if restored. These actors are getting older. That's how time works, right? So in order to restore the Snyderverse in a legitimate way, the way that the fans actually want to see it, there is a limited time frame, and that time frame is passing. We can't do this 10 years from now. Not the way that we want. And
it's like climate change. You can't ignore it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like, it's a horrible analogy, but no, you're right. You have a great point there. But to go back to quickly touch back upon the 2-year thing, how long does it take to film a fucking movie? About 2 years in general to kind of get
Roughly,
it from like seed to completion.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so you figure, okay, they just announced Army of the Dead 2. That won't be coming out in 2022, most likely 2023, which means that it probably towards the end of 2023.
He actually said his Army of the Dead 2 will shoot after Rebel Moon.
Yeah, and Rebel Moon starts production in like I think early 2022.
Early 2020. Yeah.
So and he's working on all that right now. So if he signed the deal now in July of 2021 and that deal is good until July of 2023, he's still going to be like, balls deep in post-production on these movies.
Exactly.
And, and whatever else they want and whatever else he pitches to them.
Most likely, even by 2023, if you really think about it, he may probably just be even starting press for Rebel Moon, not even going into production on Army of the Dead. I mean,
yeah, maybe
you got to think about that too. He's gonna.
Well,
have to do
I think Zach
Rebel,
is. I think Zach can juggle multiple projects. If you want my honest opinion.
Yeah.
I think they'll do. I think that Rebel Moon is going to do a lot in the volume because I know he's mentioned wanting to shoot in the volume, and that's going to become the next big thing. If you look at 300, as visually appealing as that was, it was shot a lot on green screen. And if this is a bit of a Star Wars take, it's going to be very much on green screen or very much in the volume. And that's going to be where he's going to play on that one. So production should actually be a little easier on that. However, Army of the Dead 2, whatever they want to do with it is that, that's going to be a bit more of a thing. But even then, the budget on Army of the Dead was like 90 million and it seemed pretty contained when they shot it, I think in New Mexico and in Atlantic City. So whatever they do with it next, they're probably going to keep it also, again, maybe post-apocalyptic so they can have, go out to the, the deserts in East California or Arizona or New Mexico and just build the whole thing out there and then shoot.
Well,
so
they've really invested in New Mexico, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Right. Yeah, I forgot. Albuquerque, Netflix has a studio. They bought a studio. Yeah, they I forgot about that. And that's the thing.
My family has some land like right in Las Vegas, New Mexico, near the river there. So they've seen, they see a lot of stuff, a lot of filming stuff going on around there, and especially over by the river and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I want to head out to New Mexico to see what Netflix has got going on. Cause it's like when Pinewood and all the other studios started opening up locations in Georgia and North Carolina, you start seeing a lot of people leaving LA, working actors and going out there because that's where the productions are. There's not a lot that's made in Los Angeles anymore. You just go out there for
where your office is. And
your office
where you do your junkets.
Or some TV, like a lot of TV shows are filmed on the studio lots out there. Yeah. 3-camera sitcoms. I think, what was it? Like CSI Miami was shot in Long Beach. Seriously. Dexter was also based in Miami, shot in Long Beach. Yep. They like Chuck was based in Burbank, but they shot it Long Beach, I think. They shoot a lot in Long Beach and that whole area in LA. And there's a lot you can do TV wise, a lot of work out there for extras. But if you want to head out to like a lot of the motion picture stuff, that's going to be on the East Coast, like, Louisiana, North Carolina, Georgia, all for the tax incentives and stuff. So, obviously, and then now New Mexico, when that starts really popping up, that's going to, because in like the mid 2000s or like mid to late 2000s, that was big. They had one of the best tax incentives at the time. So that's why so many movies were fucking shot out there. Mm-hmm. And then now that Netflix is like, we bought the studio, we're going to be okay. Real quick though, I do want to get to some super chats that I've missed. I feel bad real quick here. HBart's $2, man. Thank you. Says Private Eye Jarbo Jones. Just get me a fedora. None of that trilby shit. Thank you. Todd Fair here says, Matt, when I watched BVS, it was good until Lex Luthor appeared. He was a worse Lex Luthor actor. The actor is good who plays him, but the character, yuck. See, I disagree. I actually, the more I watched him, I liked Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor because he wasn't Hackman's Lex Luthor. He wasn't Michael Rosenbaum.
And I'm sorry, I cut you off there.
No, go ahead.
But we have to remember he's Lex Jr., right? He's not Lex Luthor, like he's not the Lex Luthor that like we normally see in Superman stories. He talks about his father you know, when the company's not named after me, it's named after my father, LexCorp, right? He's not, and he's actually pretty accurate to the comic book version of Lex Jr. So like he's actually very accurate. You know, the super chat, awesome. Thank you for supporting Jarbo's channel, but I will disagree with this. The character was actually, again, I can see where you're coming from, because like Jesse, I feel like had like a really like Joker Riddler vibe. But
it was very eccentric.
Very eccentric. But again, you cannot relate him to Lex Luthor, like Gene Hackman or the Smallville Lex Luthor, because it's not the same character.
Yeah, and for me, he grew on me, because the first few times, even with the Ultimate Edition, I still wasn't crazy about him, and my main thing was like it was just so, it felt like, you know, he was playing Mark Zuckerberg on steroids, you know. Just
that was kind of the point. That was kind of the point. Is I remember there was an interview with Zach. An interview, I remember this vaguely, talking about like Lex and how like Lex was going to be more of like a hacker type character versus a businessman, and like that's just to kind of update him for the times.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. So it took me a minute, but you know, after a couple of viewings, it actually. It made more sense with the story. It made more sense just kind of, especially with the Ultimate Edition, them kind of explaining some things, and that he's this manipulative genius kind of in trying to get the world against Superman and all that, and set him up in all these different ways.
Well, and then but then people love Zemo, and the characters are similar in the sense where they manipulate perspective of the general public, and like I think Daniel Brawl did a fantastic job playing Zemo, but I also thought Jesse did great with Lex Jr. in the sense that their characters are similar in the way where they knew that they couldn't defeat these characters one-on-one, hand-to-hand, so they did more manipulation tactics, and like the basis is similar in the sense that they used either family or other ways of making the heroes fight each other, instead of being able to do it themselves. They got themselves to.
Well, what I liked was that they played into Batman's paranoia and growing paranoia, and also you could also argue maybe a touch of xenophobia.
Yeah.
You know, in regards to like how he viewed Superman as like a threat that he doesn't understand. You know, it's that old adage of we want to destroy what we don't understand. And that was very on par with BVS. And of course, there's a lot to discuss with BVS. I don't want to dwell on it for too long. However, HBart's here at the great super chat says Pop Culture Corner kind of sounds like Zack Snyder. He could be his long lost son.
So much. I've been told this like countless times at this point. Listen, it's an honor, honestly. If only I could, get him to hear me and come on my show.
I keep trying to do that with Kevin Smith. I'm like, I fucking look like you, man.
Right. I've reached out to Zach's agent so many times, and she always hits me with the same exact line, like the literal same exact line. He's currently busy with a lot of different things right now. We have to decline at this time, but please keep reaching out. And then the next day I see him on like some random German podcast, and I'm just like, oh. Okay.
Well, there's like you got to get to know the Snyder Cut gatekeepers. Yeah, great, yeah.
Because but you know what? He's a smart guy. He knows where people are.
I think at this point there's a lot there with he doesn't want to after the Geeks and Gamers incident. I think they've very much kind of shut a lot of that down. And so I think my understanding of it is that at this point, because of that, like he's really keeping it close to people that he knows.
Yeah.
And so like it's really like get in good with who he knows, and that could help open. I'm not even making that sounds terrible to say, but it's true. I mean, like people who he knows.
I am. I
know.
Like Ray Porter's a friend of mine. Allison Crow's a friend of mine. You know, the list goes on, and I bet Brandon Spink's a friend of mine.
I'm just saying, offer up Dave Pena a hand job, dude. Just like go, hey man, we'll just like I'll give you a rub and tug, like just get me on, like when Zach's on, okay? Like I'll use both hands, work the shaft, stroke the balls. I know what I'm doing here, man. Like I'll make you come so good. Just let me fucking talk to Zack Snyder.
Just so fucking good, dude.
Fucking come.
It's just like
Somebody talk to him.
Nicotine has talked to him, and I'm like, why not me? Why not me? I'm just kidding. I'm not jealous, I swear.
No, I mean, like I would love to have a conversation with him.
Yeah, I do well.
Like
was Saggy on here earlier?
Someone mentioned her in the chat, but I don't know yet. I didn't see her pop in. If she wants to DM me, I'd give her a link to come on in. But real quick here, we got a $5 super chat from Real Elmo Cinema saying, "Help, Matt! HBarts is trying to time me out, so I can't donate anymore."
Oh God, jeez.
Oh, I know. This is crying face emoji, and then HBarts here says Elmo is a liar. Well, you know what I'm gonna do? You know how I'm gonna stop that from happening? I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna make Elmo here. I'm gonna make him a moderator. Right, I'm gonna make Real Elmo Cinema a moderator.
You're gonna give them equal power.
I'm gonna give them both equal power so they can equally donate. This is how the Boulder games operate. Okay, this is how. No,
Games,
and so I appreciate. Look, you guys are awesome. I love you guys both. You know that real quick. And then also here, and this is a great one. Command Unit. By the way, Command Unit. I was getting some info on the Warhammer Plus thing. Just this privacy complaint thing popped up, so that kind of took over the day. But I am looking into it. But he says here, saggy damn sensors got monetized. Also, one last plug for Major Grom Plague Doctor, because I'm hyped for a possible sequel. If you guys haven't seen the trailer for Major Grom Plague Doctor, it's on Netflix as a Russian movie. It's based on a graphic novel. Looks wild as fuck and looks really good.
Okay.
So we watched the trailer the other night. Major Grom Plague Doctor. I know it's weird. It's like a weird title, but the trailer looked amazing. I need to sit down and watch it on Netflix. Definitely once I have my surgery for the hernia, I'm going to have some downtime. So I'll be watching more Netflix, but yeah. So anyway, thank you very much, Command Unit. I will talk about the Warhammer Plus. I reached out to Voice of the Emperor, who is a big Warhammer guy, and he does want to come on and talk about it. We'll see if we can get that situated, because he'll have a better idea as how the whole thing works out. So thank you guys on that one. Very much on that. Raya here says, "Welcome to the Mod Squad." Goddamn right. What was that? There was something that I wanted to. Oh yeah, here's the thing with this, right? So just to kind of like, I was sent this a lot today, like as kind of as like a, because I joke about the Snyder Cut stuff, and so I got sent this post from the Nerd Queens, saying that if you think Zack's news with Netflix is the end of the Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyderverse, then you are being short-sighted. All things are possible. We just need to maintain our same passion and continue to make sure everyone in power knows we want to restore the Snyderverse. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. It's like, no, I like the Nerd Queens. I have nothing against Nerd Queens. I just think that's
look, and I said, you know, I think I made a tweet about it too. That I was like, look, I'll never tell anybody like, oh, you know, stop. I'll never tell anybody what to do or what to believe. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, that's not my thing. Personally, I don't see the point in restoring and like tweeting or using the restore the Snyderverse thing right now. I don't see the point of it. I just think obviously he's busy for the next 2 years, so why annoy him with what he already knows?
Well, then there's also
not going to happen in that time frame, you know.
And then comes the goalpost moving of, but no, you could bring in Ben Affleck, and Ben Affleck could do his Ben Affleck movie, and then you could do the Deathstroke movie, and then you could do like you could do all of these things, or animation. And then, you know, here's the thing, and I fully support animation.
Yeah. I don't.
And I do.
You don't? Like,
it would not be the finality that you want.
No, it wouldn't be.
What if it's Jay Olivia directed, or
I'm just saying. But no matter what, literally God could make it himself, and it would not be the finality that people want, and people would still want to see the live action play out. No
Well,
matter
yeah,
what.
if God did it though, you
Well,
know,
there's
then-
no such thing.
Can you imagine?
then-
I'm just kidding.
Jesus
then there'd be-
Christ directs
Yeah.
Zack Snyder's Justice League 2.
yeah, that's like I could imagine that like that teaser that they play at Comic-Con. You guys asked for it. You guys wanted it. You guys prayed. He fucking answered. Jesus
came
Christ,
down.
superstar director, architect of the Bible and the afterlife and all things you decree holy, is coming back with more Jesus El Cristo imagery in Zack Snyder's Justice League Part 2, directed by Stone Cold Jesus Christ.
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold, because he's behind a, remember he was in the cave for 3 days and he pushed out the stone, right? Moved the stone aside. Yeah, fucking, it's like in 3 days he will ascend to heaven.
Well, yeah, I mean,
in a theater, no masks because COVID isn't real.
Oh God.
Christian Rosas brings up a good point. Like the Snyder Cut fandom really does think Zack is God, though. Like they
That's
do
true.
think that he is God.
And yeah, and that's where you kind of mentioned, Ty, that, and I kind of brought it up earlier. I was like, that's where I think the fandom becomes like it gets to be too much in the harassment, because if they do, like, if Zack does come out with something like, yeah, an endorsed comic or an endorsed animation or something, and fans still are like clamoring and like harassing at him for the live action thing, then yeah, then that's not cool. That's not right. That's not a fandom anymore. That's just an obsessive harassment at that point, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think a lot of people though, like again, I brought up the 5 stages of grief, which are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then acceptance. We're in the bargaining phase, folks. Like we're in the bargaining phase. It will be here for, I think we would have probably gone through it a little bit quicker, but the Netflix announcement kind of brought that back up again. So then soon is going to come the depression, and that's going to be the most annoying part of it.
Well, and it's probably going to come back around again with DC fandom.
Oh, no.
All the people that are like, that's going to happen.
Yeah,
doesn't
DC.
happen.
Maybe we'll get lucky and it will happen during Suicide Squad, the lead up to Suicide Squad in like 2 weeks. You know, like maybe we'll get real lucky and everyone will just like go through that phase super quick.
Quick, yeah, we'll get there.
Like Mercury's in retrograde, or like somehow like, something happens with Zack Snyder that's like fucking pure Xanax for these people, and then they take it and then they're like they're very mellow and they chill through it, and then they go, man, I finally get it now. He's happy over at Netflix. I've accepted this. Let's go outside and touch grass.
Yeah, that is some wishful thinking there, friend. That is some real optimism. I'll tell you that.
But at the same time, I will fully fucking admit that if anything changes on that front, I will wholeheartedly eat my words.
Yeah,
and I will wholeheartedly eat my words.
100%.
I will get mocked so heavily. I'll be like, bring it on. You know what I mean? I would like.
That's the best part. Is like, dude, there's nothing in the world that I would rather be wrong about.
Yes, than this.
100%. 100%. I just, at this point, don't see logistically how it could happen.
Exactly.
I just don't.
Well, William here says the real reality of the situation is that post-Snyder, we go back to people not caring that much about DC films. Is that any better? To be fair, they didn't care anyway. They didn't care they didn't care. With Man of Steel did well, but still back then there was a lot of complaining about Man of Steel. It was only after the fact it was, I think, recognized for how good of a movie it was. BVS theatrical fucking absolutely got raked over the coals. Zack was Hollywood's punching bag. He took it in stride. He never said a thing about it, even though like everyone kind of owes him an apology from March of 2016. Ragging on that theatrical cut as if that was what he wanted. That was his compromise, but still. And then even when, BVS came out and it did very well on home video, like after that, things just went crazy with Warner. Let's be real about this though. Let's be honest to God about this. If let's say Autumn did not pass away and that would have been the best course of action. Zack would have still Zack would have had to bring in Joss Whedon because that was a studio decision to write these pages. Zack would have spent the summer of 2017 reshooting and fighting Warner Brothers every step of the way. As we learned from that note with David Goyer today about how one of the executives at Warner Brothers wanted didn't want them to destroy the pod or something.
Because they didn't understand.
Yeah, but Superman could go. How has he got to go home? He's got to go home.
Imagine the studio
So-
coming to you and saying that, like, dude, the whole 30 minutes opening scene shows the destruction and evisceration of Krypton. And you're asking me why the pod was destroyed because you're wondering how Superman's going to get back to Krypton?
If you've ever watched,
How much money do you make?
And here's the question too. It's not even about like Zach or Henry at this point. It's like, did you just miss the last 30, 40 years of like Superman's story? Like, because they did this before. It's not like Krypton was around when Christopher Reeve's movies were, run back then. Like,
you know what's really funny though is Superman Returns is that they actually, because remember, Superman Returns like starts with Superman being gone because he flew back home.
Doesn't he go? He flies back to Krypton to see its remains or whatever.
Yeah, right. Well, there's actually a shot of that they did like a 3-minute CG sequence that didn't make it into the final cut of the movie, but it cost like $3 million to do the animation. This is 2006, so I mean you can kind of tell.
Right,
and so ultimately, like they cut it from the movie, but yeah, he went back home and it was gone,
Right.
And then of course, like but that executive is a moron. But that's the thing,
even then he could fly.
Yeah, he can fly and he can survive in space.
You don't need a ship, yeah.
Yeah, like well, I mean, like in space, like can he exit the atmosphere and can he fly in space? Like. That's actually an interesting question. Can he fly in space? Because gravity, looking at how gravity operates, especially zero gravity, like I don't know. I mean, he would go real fast if he was able to like really fast.
I would assume he's more powerful in space because he's closer to the sun, right?
Well, that would be in our atmosphere.
Yeah, once he leaves our atmosphere.
Yeah, once he leaves our solar system,
maybe he
like
chills
goes out
there for a couple hours, charges up, and then takes off.
he just like, I mean, was it like, when it wasn't a straight line, it was like a zigzag pattern. He's like, oh, I got to go to the solar system, running low on batteries, want to get a burrito, like what? I don't know. I mean, the logistics of Superman traveling through space, is very funny to me. Hold on here. H Bart's here. $2, man. Thank you. Says, talk about China, our Lord Winnie the Pooh. Oh, good old Xi Jinping, man.
And China.
No one's been harder on China but me.
Let me tell you something, China.
We don't
like China.
And then H Bart says another $2 here. Says Martin Scorsese, Justice League 2.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that would be something that anyone would be open to, right?
Martin Scorsese?
No, I'm not talking about Martin, specifically. But what if let me go off on the rails here. Does Anthony Chatbot, he asks the same thing every time. When are you doing call-ins?
Anthony Chabot, he listens every night. He likes to call in and check in and say hi.
Okay.
He's a nice guy. Anthony, I'm sorry I didn't get you, man. I'm not going to do him tonight.
He asked all last night too, and I felt bad that we never answered.
No, that's okay. That's Anthony. Anthony, everyone who's a regular in the chat knows Anthony. They love Anthony.
Yeah.
He's a genuine soul. He's a genuinely good person. But no, we're not doing that tonight, buddy. I'm sorry. We'll do it. We'll do it again soon, probably tomorrow if nothing else comes up.
Yeah. But would, for instance, James Wan, we learned that he is not going to do Aquaman 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would it be acceptable to the fan base, the Snyder fan base, if Zack Snyder handpicked someone to take over and do Justice League 2 and 3? With the same, if he was able to write and produce it.
Well, I think we all remember the last time we were told Zack Snyder handpicked somebody. So I think that would be that would be the first thing that comes to mind.
Though. I'm like all things aside, like all past, whatever. Kind of like the Nolan picking Snyder. Like, would that be acceptable to the fan base? Because Zack has a lot going on. Zack also looks to be kind of not Tarantinoing it, but we know Tarantino's got one film left, and then he's gonna go into maybe producing a little bit more or whatever, writing and plays and novels and books. Yeah, exactly.
Books.
Tarantino's novels, the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood novel, but
I gotta read it.
if
I haven't even seen the movie yet, so I have to.
if Zach,
yeah, I know.
If Zach handpicked somebody and said, "Listen, I'm going to help you through the way. Stone Quarry will even produce or whatever it may be. We'll help you. We'll write the script. We'll get Terrio back in to write the script. Junkie XL will get him to do the score. We'll pull all our strings. We'll get you the help you need. Here's our scripts or storyboards." Would that be acceptable to the fans?
They would have. I mean, I think some, yeah. I think others would be like, hashtag not my Justice League.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Because it's like nothing's ever fucking good enough.
Yeah.
Like,
for some of these guys, yes, it absolutely feels like nothing is going to be good enough. Nothing is going to be, these absolute, these fools that are out there like trashing everything else that isn't Snyder right now that they haven't seen.
Let's get Denny on it.
Like you get,
that would be very cerebral.
Yeah. I mean,
well, I want to, some random says here, and that THR article literally said Zach and Deborah aren't close off to doing established comic IPs, but they also said that doing original work is more challenging than doing comic book adaptations. And don't you think as they start entering in what could be known as like the twilight of their career, because Deborah is a few years older than Zach. She's pushing 60. Zach just turned 56. So he's still in his prime, essentially. I'm not saying that they're old, but it's like they might at this point, given all of the drama from the past couple of years, their careers were literally derailed for years.
They have been involved with IPs. I mean, since right after Dawn of the Dead, 300 is a graphic novel. Watchmen is a graphic novel. DC,
I mean, Sucker Punch is kind of like a graphic novel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's the only original thing that he was able to do in that time. Besides Dawn of the Dead. Even
Dawn of the Dead, that wouldn't even really be considered an original because it's a remake.
Right, it's a remake. Exactly,
it's a remake. So
he hasn't gotten a chance to be like original spotlight like this.
Yeah,
I would. It's a good time for him.
I mean, that's the whole thing. I'm like, let the guy live his life, man. That's the whole point. And if you sit there, if you think that the only good thing about DC is Zack Snyder, then you're not a DC fan. I'm sorry. You're a Snyder fan, and that's fine. I'm a Snyder fan too. But it's like Shazam was a good movie, not DC, not Zack Snyder. Like Wonder Woman 84 was not a good movie, and he was a producer on that one. The Batman is, I think, going to be a great movie. The Aquaman was a great movie. Say? I think the Batman is going to be a good movie.
No, but Wonder Woman 84.
I said Wonder Woman 84 was not a good movie. I said, and Zach was the producer on it.
He barely touched that project.
I know that.
He barely touched that
project. I know that. A lot of people, though.
Wonder Woman 1, he had a hard hand in. And look how that came out.
Yeah, it was
Wonder Woman 84 was a committee-made heap of garbage. I know. I'm sorry, Austin. I know you liked it. I know.
I liked it.
But it in comparison to Wonder Woman
raped a guy. Like, I mean, in 84, like.
What?
You don't know about that controversy? Oh, okay. So you've seen Wonder Woman.
The guy that Steve's not possessing.
Yeah, because keep in mind, she saw Steve.
Consent?
She saw Steve Trevor. Everyone else saw the guy, right?
Oh, God.
No, it was non-consensual sexual intercourse, i.e., rape. Wonder Woman committed sexual assault on an unsuspecting citizen. And then at the end of the movie, she totally recognized that she had probably smoked his sausage. And she was like, yeah, you look good in like that. I know a guy who would look good. I mean, they were flirting at the end of the movie,
I liked it.
I'm not gonna ever think about that again. I'm never gonna.
No, and the thing is, they want you not to think about that ever again. They want you to forget. They want you to memory hole her Me Too moment.
Well, I mean, as soon as Weinstein gets out,
Jeff Johns will have a great career working over there at the new Weinstein Company.
It's gonna be Weinstein, Cosby, Jeff Johns, Joss Whedon. It's just gonna be it's gonna be a studio of champions.
Kevin Spacey will star in every film. It's gonna be
every film will be Spacey and
every
Cage.
single movie. Yeah.
Yeah, and then anyone who criticizes Kevin Spacey, he might not end up seeing them again, because like two witnesses in the cases against them have wound up dead.
Yeah,
and it's like that. You know what, like one, okay, maybe two. You know what, if you're going for a hat trick, no one's gonna buy I'm innocent shit. Okay,
yeah,
like if the third one ends up dead,
I just think
to do a game
so
of fucking Clue.
Creepy. His once a year videos that he releases. Those freak me out. That he does them as his House of Cards character.
Yeah, but like, remember when like Bill Cosby was exiting out of one of the courtrooms,
right?
And they said something to him, and he went, hey.
No, he did not.
He did. Yeah, he did. He went, hey, as like he was exiting out like the courthouse and whatever. And it's like everyone's like, what the fuck did that mean? Why the fuck did this guy do this shit? What's going on, Bill Cosby? I mean, is this like an insanity plea? Like he believes he's Fat Albert. You know, like the only way that anyone would ever touch Fat Albert's penis is clearly through rape. Like, so obviously, like he. All right, I'm gonna back off the rape jokes because, like, clearly those are like in poor taste.
Yeah, but demonetized.
It's you know what? Super chat. Speaking of that, Mo Moon, $5, man. Thank you. Says The Passion of the Batman, directed by Mel Gibson, starring Jim Caviezel as Bruce Wayne / Batman. That would be the most brutal Batman movie ever made.
And I can't wait.
You know what? Could you imagine that? Right? Like it says. So it's Gotham. Let's say it's Christmas night, because that just seems to make the most amount of sense. Right. The streets are clear, but the criminals are out. Batman's been captured by Two-Face, and they're leading him to be tried by the Joker. And as they're dragging him through the streets, he is getting beaten and bloodied by all of the criminals that he's put away. And he's and he's like, oh, help me, someone, and then here comes Catwoman, and she's Mary Magdalene, and she's got the Shroud of Turin or whatever, the Bat Cape, whatever it might be, and like you could totally do.
Comes and help.
Yeah, Dick Grayson gets up there to argue for his help, and the criminals are just like, no, set free the pedophile, and
dude, that'd be like a really good, how they do those elsewhere, comics and stuff.
Maybe I should write that.
Like
Maybe I should
Superman
write
Red Son, dude. Like,
just don't, again, don't be tracing. Just don't be tracing.
Don't be tracing, man.
There we go. Yeah, The Passion of the Batman.
Yeah.
That would be the most sought after Batman fan film since Batman versus Predator and Alien.
Right. Or for me, dude, Batman versus Darth Vader was the highlight of my childhood. I'll tell you that right now.
Cancel Jarbo. Cancel Matt Jarbo. Come on, guys. That's me. No, I know that's you.
Okay.
I know that's you. Yeah.
Some people don't know it's me, and it's like there's a picture. Hey, bring it back up. Bring it back up. Keep bringing.
No, I just like to. Oh yeah. Hold on, let me find it here. Okay. There you
are. Ready? Look at that.
Yeah, it's you.
That's me.
Yeah.
And there's Puppy Logan. All right.
I'm just saying. It's like you could totally do something like that. Now here we go. The Death of Superman, directed by Mel Gibson, starring Jim Caviezel. Yeah, that could be a thing. I mean, did you guys see Jim Caviezel recently was talking about adrenochrome in children? And then tonight, some reporter had asked Joe Biden about like, do all Democrats feel blank way, whatever? And he goes, I don't know. Do all Republicans think that we suck the blood out of children? Like Biden actually said that to a reporter
because he doesn't know where he is.
No, he knows exactly where he is, but he also has read the rumors about how Hillary Clinton like feeds on the flesh of young children.
Biden does not know where he is half the time.
I don't know, but that was a great.
45% of the time. Okay, no.
That was pretty fun. Okay, let's. We should probably start winding it down. It is midnight. Well, 3 a.m. for Ty, and I can't do. I don't know. I could probably do like another half hour. I can't do a
it's
4 hour
not for me.
fucking stream. That killed me last night. I was like so tired.
Yeah, I know you guys. I started watching you guys, and then I got into gaming, and then I got off, and I was like, you guys are still going.
I had a great time, and listen, I was like Jarbo, I can only do 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
It turned into 30 to 40 hours. And,
literally like six
Yeah.
times the amount. 6 times.
Yep,
It was
yep.
it was
I
a lot
had
of
a
fun.
good time. I was having a good time.
I was having good. That's what I was say earlier. Did you imagine Justice League directed by Martin Scorsese? Just bring back Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and Joe Pesci as the older versions of the characters. Just sitting at the Justice League table, reflecting on all their past.
Well, if we're gonna
regrets.
do that, can we just get like Dick Tracy too?
Dude,
You know, like pretty sure all of those guys are still alive. Al Pacino's still alive. Dustin Hoffman's still alive.
Yes.
Fucking
Yeah.
Warren Beatty's still alive. Madonna's still alive. The one chick though, she's dead. Glenn Hetty.
yeah.
Leanne, what she was like the female lead in Dick Tracy. She passed away a couple years ago. That was really sad. And then Charlie Corsmo was the boy in the movie. He's still around. And you could totally do a Dick Tracy, 30 years later sort of thing. Like, I haven't seen Dick Tracy in a long time. I know it's on HBO Max. I should go and watch it again. I'll tell you what I almost bought today though. I was at Walmart and they're releasing, they released some new 4Ks like Snatch in 4K just came out. And like, I love Snatch. It's such a great film. I love watching older movies in 4K rather than newer movies because I feel like the negative transfer is just a lot cleaner than watching something that was shot digitally. However, they also had Howard the Duck on 4K for like $20. And I'm like, do I buy Howard the Duck on 4K or do I buy my daughter this toy? It's about the same price. And it's not that I had a conflict of it.
With the toy.
I went with the toy.
I was
All
with
right.
the movie.
Obviously, I went with the toy
That's a good dad.
because I'm like, yeah. I mean, like, but I'm like, because my kid wouldn't appreciate
And
Howard
then you
the
just
Duck.
steal the DVD.
Just make her run for it, like I'm trying to
Yeah.
rob a casino.
Yeah.
I can make it.
It's Walmart.
Or put it in your
Kids.
kid's hand. Yeah, she
Yeah,
didn't
there
know.
you go. Yeah, she didn't. Yeah, well, now she's a
She-
3-year-old. You're gonna fucking play the
took it
3-year-old. She saw that it was a
You
fucking
guys should
duck
be
on the
ashamed
game.
of yourselves for calling out 3 and
Hey.
then walk away with the DVD.
Speaking of which, I know we are rounding it out, but What If is coming out August
3 weeks.
12th, right?
Mhm.
And actually Howard the Duck shows up, I believe.
Yeah, voiced by
Yeah.
Seth Green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Jarbo, what are your thoughts on What If, and are you excited for it?
Because I think now that they have opened up the multiverse, in a way that I think is actually going to be compelling for the story.
Yes.
I think I'm really anxious to see. I was already anxious to see the What Ifs anyway, but now that there might be because I never thought there would be a connection to the MCU.
Right.
Now
you
it
feel
appears like
these
oh
what ifs may not be
yeah.
what ifs.
yeah, and it's also like there's going to be like, and they're also looking to expand upon the animation arm of Marvel Studios. They're building that mini studio, so that's really cool too. I think the animation is stellar. I'm a little bit disappointed that Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans aren't going to be.
Yeah, I thought I was
But-
when
but
they
I
I was
kinda
under
announced
the
it.
impression that
I thought they were gonna be
everyone.
back.
Yeah,
was
that's
coming
what they let you believe, but they also let you believe that because they didn't want you to think that Tony Stark was going to die.
True.
But then again, like they mentioned this at D23 in the summer of 2019. So yeah, no, they were already out. Endgame had already come out, so that was
Yeah. They were
And-
But
in the
and
next phase.
They probably honestly looked at the budget and they just was like, we simply
I was
can't
like,
do it.
Robert Downey Jr. $25 million, and we're
well
good.
considering the fact that like he made $40 million for like
Spider-Man for
Homecoming or whatever. Like he made so much money
Right.
on that.
14
for-
days of work.
Yeah.
for the Avengers movies, he made like probably over 100 million.
You know what I mean? Like it was probably in their best interest to not like bring back enough people where you can kind of get lost into it, but not
Yeah.
everybody.
I mean,
And
they
but-
got like Tom Holland, and I think
And
is-
Thor, Chris Hemsworth, I could have swore I heard. was in-
Tom
Yeah, he's in
Hiddleston.
Killmonger was.
I mean, yeah. This is going to be Chadwick Boseman's final
appearance
performance.
And as like a Star-Lord character, I'm so hyped.
Hanging out with Yondu, which is going to be awesome.
Like, I'm so surprised. I'm like so intrigued on. I mean, anthology series. I'll be honest. Anthology series, I'm not a huge fan of. I like a consecutive, like, plot. And like something to build towards. But this is the only anthology that, like, all right, this is something I can get behind, because each story is going to be something different, but it's all like, you know, Marvel movies just with aspects changed. So like, we've already seen the continuity of it all. This is just changing certain aspects, and then you know, so this is a little bit different in that sense. I am excited though. And Marvel animation really isn't that good usually. So
well, I mean, like Marvel animation
used to be.
when they were doing like the Ultimate Avengers 1 and 2
like
and
X-Men.
Dude, I found that. I have that on Blu-ray the other day, and I was
I found I have the double pack. They had the
so do
double
I.
set.
I had the double pack. And I was like, I'm gonna watch that.
You know what I found on Walmart on Blu-ray a number of years ago that I thought was awesome was they did for Watchmen, they animated the Curse of the Black Freighter with Gerard Butler.
Yes.
Right. So they released that as its own little standalone DVD, but they also did a Watchmen. Yeah, it is an Ultimate Cut, but they had it as its own thing that was separate. But you could also they did a motion comic of the entire graphic novel. It was like 12 episodes, like 12 issues. And it was really cool. And they released that on DVD because that was a web only exclusive. And then they put that on DVD, and then they paired it with our Blu-ray with the Curse of the Black Freighter. So I've got that set, which is pretty dope. And you know, and I like it when they do those kind of things. But yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I just want to talk about that.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I remember actually now that you mention it, I think those miniseries, they're probably web, but I think they were also like on HBO. Too, when Watchmen was coming out, they were releasing them like in between, you know, their movies or whatever. So yeah, I actually now that I think about it, I remember that, but I never saw the whole motion comic series.
Well, I understand what Ty means about the anthologies. I mean, I wish that, like, for Black Mirror, I think works as an anthology really well.
Right.
But I also really enjoyed like the Animatrix for just how like it kind of the different stories that tied into to the Matrix and whatnot. But then they did the other ones like the Batman Gotham Knight and Halo Legends, and they've done a few others that have gone to like the anime companies, but like trying to tackle Western characters, I think have just like failed miserably. They're both pretty terrible. But we'll have to wait and see what they do with What If. I think it's going to be pretty good. Now, did you guys see the thing today connecting WandaVision to the guy
Loki?
Loki? Yeah, at the end there.
Yeah, that they sync up. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
What's going on there?
Here, I'll bring it up. I'll show you guys.
Pee?
Did your dog just pee on you?
Sounds like I asked the same question to my kid.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, when you have animals or you have children, like, why are you wet?
Yep.
What is happening?
He is like a little kid. I get it. Jarball, I sent the video to Austin earlier, but he ripped up a pillow of mine, and him and I had a conversation, and it was just like the cutest thing. All right.
Was it like, I'll fucking kill you if you do that again? I love you.
Yeah,
but I'll
literally.
fucking kill you.
Yeah, it was literally like that, actually. Yeah.
Like I'll fucking cut you.
Only a year old, you know.
Yeah. So
no
so
one would
this.
know you were gone.
Yeah. You're only a puppy. You're only a puppy. You don't fucking matter to anyone but me. I love you, but fuck you. Yeah. No, yeah. Right, anyway, so yeah, we all have animals. Obviously, I had 5 cats until they were introduced to the woods. Yeah, we just lost one about 2 months ago. So like that sucked. Wanda becoming Scarlet Witch and He Who Remains realizing they crossed the threshold occurred at the same time in the WandaVision and Loki finales at 27 minutes and 52 seconds. And this is the clip.
We just crossed the threshold.
So I mean, like,
Wait a sec. I don't get it.
okay, so I'm a little, yeah. So the idea here is that, because you got to remember, originally,
I feel like we're putting stones against something. I feel like we're putting square
Mephisto,
blocks
guys. It's
into
so obvious
circle.
that it's Mephisto.
it's clearly
circle.
Mephisto. Yeah.
So
What I think this is you've got so okay, so when they're in the void, right? When they're in the void at the end of time is where they are with Kang there, right? Or He Who Remains.
Right.
And then so at the exact same time on the WandaVision season finale or series finale is when she became the Scarlet Witch. So the Scarlet Witch has a lot of implications with the multiverse, obviously tying into the multiverse of madness. And this is now showing the birth of the multiverse. So clearly it's like they're connected. Now, is it the best explained? Because obviously like Loki took place in 2012 versus I think WandaVision took place at what, 2023?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like there's clearly an 11-year difference there, but where Loki is at that point in time is at the end of time.
Right.
So it's, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, it's really cool that they plotted something like this out. Its implications are probably not necessarily going to be felt on like the widespread.
So basically what they're saying is it happened at the same time stamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're pulling straws here.
Well, yeah, I see Adam Burke says the same thing. You know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Lord
See,
Slugger says,
Adam and I are vibing tonight, man.
Yeah, just the Marvel fans overthinking everything. I mean, like, I would like to ask. I think someone should ask Kevin Feige that question. You know,
Yeah.
I think that would be.
Was this intentional?
Well, Lord Slugger says that's agreed. This is pure coincidence, dude. When has things in Marvel ever just truly been pure coincidence? I'm just saying.
Well, except WandaVision.
Listen, you know what? Maybe something is of it. You know,
But I can see it. You know, like
maybe
right. Maybe when she you know unleashed all that and all that, finally let everybody go. Yeah, maybe something happened.
I can see in his eyes that like he does sense something.
Yeah, something.
Yeah,
something
like I was
happened.
wondering what that was in the finale. I'm like, what's he like? Oh, we've crossed a threshold now. Like, is what a Nexus event happening? Like
The prophecy
Yeah.
of the Scarlet Witch becoming the Scarlet Witch, which is never supposed to happen, or it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like what Agatha says is like, you weren't supposed, like this isn't supposed to happen. Yada yada. I could see down the line maybe that happening, maybe that coming to fruition. However, I do think just showing those two clips at the same time, that is, we're reaching.
now,
And-
well,
and again, what did we learn about reaching with things like WandaVision?
it's
and I
not
know-
Mephisto.
I know Jarbo. I know
It's not.
Jarbo's actually a huge fan of WandaVision.
I am.
And
I am. I loved it. Oh yeah.
and he did. He loved every minute of it. I know he did because
I
listened to
think
it.
then it definitely it definitely led you to believe some things that you know.
It was
Yeah,
the
It did
ultimate
not.
troll.
If anything, WandaVision is the one show that I would say Marvel, you know, planted a lot of stuff that didn't
They didn't,
come
but
through.
they didn't though. People ran with it though, man. And then the cast,
He
they
did it.
played.
He did it.
It was the fans who ran with that. Like the cast, like Paul Bettany saying, like, I can't wait to, I get to work with the one person I've always wanted to work with. And then everyone's like, is it fucking Luke Skywalker? You know, like everyone is running with that shit.
Right,
So
right.
clearly people were, you know, everything was Mephisto. If you look at my pinned tweet right now on my account, I say Mephisto is the new Half-Life 3 of the MCU. And it's like, you know, and some people finally got the joke and they're like, oh yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
But I liked WandaVision because I thought that the characters were compelling. I liked the story. I also love old 1950s and 60s sitcoms. So like
Right.
that's part of my upbringing. But I just enjoyed the relationship aspect of it. And I love that line at the very end. What is grief if not love persevering?
Yeah.
I think is excellently written. I feel like the ending was a little bit like, it was hard to stick the landing on that a little bit. I thought it stuck the landing a bit better than Falcon and Winter Soldier, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's even though I liked Falcon and Winter Soldier, I feel like that not that it fell apart, but it like had some rough patches, especially dealing with like, the villain, because who cared about her? But Loki nailed it. 6 episodes, nailed it across the board, in my opinion.
Dude, every episode got better and better and better and better and better.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it kind of sucks that like.
No, they didn't. Sill. They didn't drop the. You just overthought that in your mind, dude. That was the greatest fucking troll of all time. I loved it. Loved it. Sorry.
And
sorry.
again, with the end of Loki, anything is possible at this point, right? And that's what I liked about Loki is like all that stuff that happened during WandaVision. Like now, I don't know. Like literally anything can happen, and the multiverse is really here finally. They've been teasing it and teasing it and teasing it.
You do suck makes a great point here. At that point in Loki, Kang did not know what was going to happen after that.
Yeah.
He had reached the end of what he knew was going to happen. And so if in that moment, in our reality, in our 616 multiverse, right, in our universe, because if they were breaking, if the sacred timeline was the 616, right? Which, by the way, also had that episode where Sophie dropped all those Nexus bombs, right? Or those bombs creating all those events.
Yeah.
That was on June 16th, 616. So they've been trolling us across the board, dude. They've been doing these little things all the time to mess with us a bit. And that is awesome. And I love it because it shows you how fucking meta they know their fan base. Like it's so meta. They know how to play everybody. They can do a little thing here and a little thing there, and people pick up on it. And like, they love that. That shows you the dedication of the fan base. I'm just saying, it's like those things those are acts of love. Even the Evan Peters as Quicksilver bit was so much an act of love to the fans. I thought that was great because
they did what they could.
Everyone got their own hype up on that. That was so awesome. It's like
they did what they could with it. And like, listen, it probably wasn't the right time to introduce mutants or the X-Men. So they did what they could with what they had. And who knows what the future has to offer. This is not over yet. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if we do see Evan Peters again. Honestly.
I hope so. I really hope so. For one, I like him as an actor. 2, I would love to see Quicksilver come back. That Quicksilver would be awesome. And in the multiverse of madness, we could see him and we could see something because, obviously Ralph Boner. But what if Ralph was the agent Jimmy Woo was trying to find? So there's that speculation. Like people want to see a Jimmy Woo Darcy spinoff show where they just kind of like X-Files, the fucking Marvel shit. Which I mean, I think it'd be funny, but I think it'd be like a 1-season limited event sort of thing. Like it would be an ongoing event. But I do feel like they understand their fan base well enough to be able to put out this kind of content and to very much like to give us what we want in new and interesting ways. And they're experimenting. They're in their college phase, right? They're in their experimentation phase. And we're getting some interesting stuff out of it. So I'm very happy with that. I'm very excited for Shang-Chi, for What If, for Hawkeye. I mean, look, Hawkeye and Miss Marvel confirmed before the end of the year. That is 6 Marvel shows in 1 year.
Right, but
in their first year.
But then again, you got to take the pandemic
I know, you
into
take
consideration because it pushed slates back and stuff like that. But the greatest thing about this is that you're right. Disney Plus has allowed them to experiment, and it has allowed them to do things that in the MCU, and aside from Long Storm, I get Storm on my mind. Long form storytelling, we get to test the waters a little bit. Like Jeffrey Ford, has been on the show before, the head editor for Marvel, and he's coming back. He's also a friend of mine, and he worked on Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I've been trying to talk to him about that one scene where John Walker you know,
Yeah.
kills
Yeah.
the dude. And so like they're dipping their toes in places that they haven't been before. WandaVision. It was not supposed to come out first. It ended up coming out first, and it was an experiment show. They didn't know how it was going to be received. Overall, received pretty well. And the fans definitely drove, it was like that water cooler kind of show. It's like, what's going to happen next? Yada, yada. Falcon and Winter Soldier was more of what we knew. It was that kind of, Marvel action, that story that we love, right? What Marvel's good at. And then Loki, Loki just was batting cleanup, and he cleared the bases, right? He cleared the bases because, it was just an amazing sequence. If you would have told me 5 years ago that there was going to be a show about Loki, and it was going to be the best series, Marvel series or project that you had seen in 3 years, I would have laughed at you.
Probably. I think a lot of people back then were focused on the Infinity Saga, and then that gap year last year. I think it was a good year for DC because they were able to push a lot of that content, which is great. And then Marvel kind of just sat back and like let DC do their thing and didn't, because Marvel likes to undercut DC wherever they can. Let's be fair. And if Feige can find a way to fuck with them, he fucks with them, and usually he wins. As evidenced by, if you guys recall, back in 2016, they were going to put out Civil War and BVS on the same day, and Warner Brothers blinked, so it happens. I think with these new shows and then moving these characters up into the big leagues, like look at Monica Rambeau from WandaVision. She's going to be at the end of that. We had the Skrulls pop up, and then the Skrulls are, like, oh, let's go up to Sword. That we saw at the end of Far From Home. So now we're going to probably be seeing the Sword base and getting more of that. Amelia Clark just today confirmed finally that she's in Secret Invasion.
Yes.
So it's like they're clearly getting ready for that. They're going to be creating these smaller contained events on Disney Plus that are going to be massive events,
And just like so we had the Infinity Saga, right? And the movies, they were, for the first 3 phases, were building towards something. And they were always going a direction. Disney Plus is also doing that, right? All of the Disney Plus shows are building towards this culmination event. And
that is also something Star Wars is doing.
Yes,
through
with the
Disney
crossover
Plus. So
Ahsoka.
Well, command unit here, it says Star Wars multiverse when. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to segue into that. Right. I don't think we're going to do a Star Wars multiverse because it doesn't really seem to apply. Star Wars is very linear, albeit cyclical storytelling, but it's still very linear. And there's really no need to break off. There is the world between worlds, and there is some of those things with the Force, but ultimately, the world between worlds popped up in Clone Wars, and then in Rebels, like there was some time travel stuff, but it was very like the time travel stuff had an impact, but it was also like, it wasn't like a massive thing. A character was saved, but whatever. Like a good character was saved, obviously. I'm just like,
Ahsoka.
It's Ahsoka. Yeah, it's Ahsoka. But like, again, there's really no need to like go off into the multiverse. But if you think about Mando, and I've talked about this before, Mando season 2, if I'm going to compare it to like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is fucking Iron Man 2. Okay. Season 2 was an introduction to the larger universe that they're building towards. So instead of like the Avengers, which is what Iron Man was building towards, this is building towards Ahsoka and the Mando season 3, Book of Boba Fett, whatever the Rangers of the New Republic is going to turn into. We don't know yet what they're doing with that after Gina Carano got fired. Although real quick here, because I like to bring this up, you guys might get a kick out of this. I need to find a way to actually put this on a shirt, but here's the Gina shot first.
Oh my God.
I like that.
Yeah, I made that. And then I also have Gina Carano did everything wrong, which I do want to get that for Comic-Con next time I go. But really it's like, but the thing is they're building to that, like they're building to Thrawn, and that's going to be massive for Disney Plus. Now, whether or not that's going to tie into like the movies, it fucking should. All right. Like Rogue Squadron should tie the fuck into post Return of the Jedi, which is when Rogue Squadron was set in, I believe, the books and the games, was not fucking post, Rise of Skywalker. Like they should not go forward on that front for quite some time. They got 25 fucking years to play with. Play with that shit for a while. And they are. If you watch Mando season 2, they started kind of hinting towards the sequel trilogy, right? With like the cloning canister, and you hear and you hear
Dude,
Snoke's
even
theme
Bad
play.
Batch, Bad
Batch is tying into that, yeah.
there.
I know, and that's the thing too. That's why I want to wrap this up like the next 10 minutes or whatever. I want to go watch fucking Bad Batch. I want to get comfy. I want to get in bed. I want to, like brush my teeth and sit there and watch it on my TV and shit. Because I fucking love Bad Batch. The show's amazing.
Dude, it's so good. Good.
I love
and what they're setting up, man. What they're setting up with bringing in,
Who could play Thrawn?
I mean, like. People have suggested Benedict Cumberbatch, but he's like, I don't want to be blue.
Yeah. He's like, I don't want to do that makeup.
I don't want to, but it's also like, at the same time, how many people have denied being in things? Like when actors tell you anything about not being in something, it's like, you never really know. I do think Benedict would be good for that. We don't know what's going to happen post Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. We don't, but it's clear he's going to be around for a while. Sherlock ain't coming back anytime soon.
Right.
Dude. Why? That show is so brilliant.
It was really good. It was did
you guys like that Enola Holmes bullshit?
I did actually like it. I thought some of the dialogue with Millie Bobby Brown was kind of dumb, but I'm sorry. She's the worst actress ever. She's not the worst actress ever.
Yes, she is.
She's not. I mean, dude, she's not like fucking Britney Spears.
All right, she's not the worst actress ever.
You ever seen Britney Spears in fucking Crossroads?
All right, okay,
dude?
all right, I get it. But
don't get me wrong. Hashtag free Britney.
Yep, exactly. Hashtag free Britney, baby.
But
she is a bad actress, dude. She's like I'm so against child acting. You don't know who you are. You should not be pretending to be someone else. That's just my opinion, yada yada.
Or they're the perfect one for it because they don't have an identity.
And then they can and we wonder why they go down a path of drugs, alcohol, and become Britney Spears.
So
right? Or Shia LaBeouf. We wonder why.
Or Macaulay Culkin was pretty hardcore into some shit for a while.
Millie. You know what, Millie? I loved her in Stranger Things. I did. I liked her in Stranger Things.
Walking it back.
I'm not walking it back.
He's walking it back.
I'm not
He's
walking
the
it
worst
back.
actress.
He's like, I'm bashing a 17-year-old actress.
No. Listen. Because you're right. I went off the rails because I'm on the Jarbo channel. I took it a little too far, right? I think she has a lot of learning to do. I think she has a lot of potential there. She's been given a lot of opportunity really quick because of Stranger Things, and I think it's too much. And I really do think that she could be one day. I mean, really a really good actress. But as of right now, she's just not believable.
Well, I would say there's also some of the parts. I thought Enola Holmes. I thought she, I think Enola Holmes too, to get the type of performance that they want out of that is kind of like, we don't want. Okay, let's be fair. What you want is a female version of Robert Downey Jr. in Sherlock Holmes. Is what you want, right? That kind of like snarky.
How much is a third Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock movie?
That's supposedly coming at some point in time. I don't know. I mean, Guy Ritchie is supposedly working on it. He's got another movie he's filming with Jason Statham right now. So, after Wrath of Man came out, I mean, like, I feel like Guy Ritchie's just got a fuckload of movies that he shot like on a weekend. And then like they're just releasing them as time goes on. But they are supposedly doing, Sherlock Holmes 3. It's been almost 10 years. God damn it. Just give me that fucking movie. But when it comes,
that's so good. Those ones.
Well,
it's a shame that I mean, why didn't they? Whatever happened as to why I don't understand why they didn't make that sooner. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
They were both very successful.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I gotta quickly get the. I've been blessed with super chats. 1 second here.
Oh yes.
H Barts, Fatwis is trash ending. Rushed Flag Smashers garbage. Again, they were the worst part of the ending, but Isaiah Bradley was the shit. And I thought that Anthony Mackie did a great job, and obviously setting up USA Agent and the Countess is going to be awesome. So yeah, Flag Smashers was like the weakest part of that show, as well as the directing. I didn't think the directing was very good, but I enjoyed everything else pretty much. And then also, so thank you for that, H Bars. And then just randomly drops fucking 50 bones.
I know.
And super chats, man. Thank you, H Bars. Thank you so much. That's like, yeah.
So jealous.
Much love.
So yeah, I
didn't say anything,
dude. You should have been here last week when it was like $100 in like 3 minutes, dude.
Yeah, I would have left, honestly.
I was
I'm just like, I'm just kidding.
I have. Thank you so much, H Barts, on that. I'm gonna keep it up there just to bug Ty.
Yeah. No, we just hey, we just hit our 10-month anniversary. Actually, I didn't even realize it. 10 months of being up and running, and I'm super excited. But I do gotta wrap up, man. I gotta wrap up. I gotta take off.
Yeah, man. I know it's like I gotta get to bed too. I have the long day tomorrow. But if you guys got I'll talk to the chat for a few minutes. That's fine. I understand.
No. I want to go to you end, but I'm just saying.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll
Okay.
we'll cut this thing. Yeah. It's all good.
Basically telling you, hurry up on your
Yeah. He's like, oh, God damn it. I know you got 50 bucks.
No, I'm telling you. I'm like, you better end your goddamn show when I.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'll turn this damn bus around and ruin your precious
fucking. I'll kill Hollywood. No. No. I like. Look, the thing is, I like Millie Bobby Brown. I think I like her in Stranger Things. I like Stranger Things quite a bit.
What about Godzilla?
Godzilla was just a poor. Like, did you know they cut out like so much of that plot, right?
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. It's I'll make the comparison.
Oh, monster.
I'll make the comparison. It's like, look, foreplay and sex is good, right? It is. It's just good. You want foreplay. Godzilla versus Kong was like literally just like, treating like, I don't know, treating the dick like it's like a fucking lollipop commercial. 1, 2, 3, you're done. And then it goes right into the cervix smashing. And then it's like, you're like, this is fun, cool. And then like, it's an hour and a half of that. And you're like, can we take a bit of a break, take a bit of a breather, get some juice, rehydrate? And then it's over. And you're like, well, that was fun. I liked the last hour and a half of my life. We could have made it last longer, I think. Sting has taught me that tantric sex. I'm just saying, it's like they could have they cut out so much shit of that movie. Like, there were so many plot points that they cut out of that film that they just, like, even the actors have talked about that. Like Jessica Hennick from Iron Fist and Game of Thrones. She had film stuff that was cut out.
There's one actor that filmed stuff that I think there's one actor that was completely cut out of the film. Actually,
yeah.
Right?
Well, Lance
the dude from John Wick.
No, he was in for one scene. He was in for one scene in the movie. And Lance Hennick or Henrik or Hendrick, or I forget his last name. But he was in it. They had shot a lot more. According to Adam Wingard, during the post-production, they just started whittling the stuff down so they could figure out stuff for the reshoots. But look at Olivia Rodrigo, right? She's in the movie and she's only in it for like 10 minutes and then she dies. And it's like, and it's just a random fucking, you can see it coming, but there was like, like, she's a villain. She's like the second in command. She's like the sub boss, and she died. And you're like, oh, okay. Like the fight scenes were cool. That was great. I enjoyed the mythos of the Kong and Godzilla and the Mutos and Monarch and all that. Like, the fucking world building is cool, but there was literally like no fucking world building in Godzilla v Kong. That was all left to Kong Skull Island.
Hey, listen, I want to talk to you about something real quick.
Yeah.
So our producer just sent us something, and apparently,
is it another
motion comic?
Yeah. I just saw that too, actually.
Justice League: Fall of the Gods.
Yeah. Hold on here. I got the tweet. Involved. So this was just announced by Luis Enrique Bedregal Vega. I'm gonna pronounce. I've always butcher names. He says here, so happy to announce the new Justice League motion
Are
comic.
you fucking kidding me?
Fall of the God, working with my friend, colleague, and director, Paolo Stefano, was such an amazing experience to me. Truly visionary. Can't wait for you guys to see this upcoming masterpiece. And they said it's an original story. They said it's an original story, like 90% original story.
But
Like-
I've heard that before.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like, I mean, that looks oddly familiar. That logo right there looks
That's
really.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This has
yeah,
got to be.
yeah.
This has
Come
got to be.
on.
This has got to be a troll. This has got to be a
can't-
fucking troll.
This is either
Yeah,
A1, a troll, or B, it's the Wardell situation.
Maybe, yeah.
Where's-
Well, actually, hold on here. Hold on. So let me bring up the because I still have the screenshot of the teaser that LightCast put up, and so I mean, it is different. It is. I mean, like
so remarkably
Oh
similar.
no, it's
dude.
super close. It is super close, but it is also.
Of course, they're not going to make it exactly the same, but I'm
But
talking the
the font is the same. The font is the
font is-
same.
the
The filter is the
shading.
same. Yeah.
So here's I got a little.
All right, no. Honestly, go back. If you cropped it into the right position and change something like
Yeah.
certain words,
Yeah.
come on, man.
It's got who? But who is this guy?
So it says I got some. Our producer sent us something here. First look at the upcoming DC fan motion project from new director Paolo Stefano, and Louis Bedra. The story will tell the post Zack Snyder Justice League events, where our heroes will join forces once again to defeat dangerous god Darkseid. 4 Olympia past villains will return to fight. At Mr. Vega official. Yeah, I have no idea who this guy is.
Yeah, I mean, he's got it up there on his Instagram. But the thing is, though, so like the Justice League motion comic actually had an Instagram page, by the way. And hold on, there we go. So it had an Instagram page that it never really updated anything. Let's see. Oh no, the account. I think the account's gone. Yeah. The account has been removed. There's a anyway. Can I follow it? I guess I could follow it. I don't fucking know. Fuck Jesus. This whole thing's getting wild. You know, it's getting crazy. So many people are just like, I can't tell if this is real or fake. And you know what? I'll be honest with you guys. At this point, I don't even know if I care.
It's too much, dude. It's too much. I can't care anymore.
I just don't give a shit. You know, it's
I
like,
just
all
thought
right.
it was funny and how that's the piece of news that I get right when we wrap up. Like,
Right.
Hey, here's this thing that looks exactly like the thing that we've been talking about, and it's I don't even know what to say, dude. Honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty wild. Let me quickly get to a couple quick super chats here. HBart's here, $2 more, saying it's not Tyler, it's Zach.
All right, listen. I'll do Zach impersonations for you. Like I said,
all day long.
I'll come on over. I'll do Zach. You give me dialogue. I'll do it for you, and we'll work something out. You know, my OnlyFans is in the works.
There you go. That's
my
gonna,
channel
yeah.
does have memberships, and you know, if you join the highest tier, I'll do pretty much whatever you want.
There you go. There you go. And if with enough money, Saggy can get involved, I guess, because they don't live far from each other.
Yeah, no,
So-
Saggy.
There you go. Ooh.
There you go.
Saggy, you know, what was that joke that I made? I
don't
couldn't
know.
remember.
What was that? What was that random fucking joke?
Something about the D.
Something I don't know about the D.
Because Saggy has been very open about how she thinks I'm very attractive and yada 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 yada, and she like keeps trying to, and it's cute. It's like she like asked me to go for bubble tea, yada yada, and but you know it's
Saggy loves her bubble tea.
Loves her bubble tea.
Loves her
Loves her
bubble tea.
bubble
Like,
tea.
I mean,
yeah, something's going on here too with this comic. This dude was involved with the first one.
he was. He says he did the. I'm looking on his Instagram page, and
Yeah,
he said
I'm
that
going through his
he
Twitter.
that he did the After Effects. He was the one creating the logos, is what he says here. That he was creating the animated logos.
Okay, well, then that makes sense. So he just took his design back.
So I'm basically gonna say this. They found a way. They went underground. Now this is just me playing the advocate here.
Yeah.
They went underground. They're rebranding it, and they're going to release it. It's going to get released the way it was going to be. But they're going to bring in the new artist. They're going to change it. They're going to change who is the face of it, and it's going to go out. That's what I'm thinking is happening.
That's kind of what it feels like. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's a 90% different story. Like, come on. Here's the thing. I want to stop talking about this fucking motion comic, but you fuckers keep giving me shit to talk about. Because now I want to know. Because now I want to know more about this shit.
What's going on with this?
Like, yeah, what's going on with this real quick here? Ben sent here with 10 pounds. Thank you, man. It says the reaction to Zach's Netflix deal from the Restore fans was frankly pathetic. The goalposts changed again to fit the narrative, and a lounge ridiculing you to try to win the argument. Infantile. Wait, hold on. Was Enosh ridiculing me on that one? I know there was like a little bit stuff going on. I don't know. I mean, I was making fun of it today a little bit, but I don't know if he was going after me specifically. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I haven't been wrong. So, it is what it is.
For sure.
And, and it's like, I still...
We love Enosh, but...
Yeah, I know there's like friendly banter between he and I on the subject. Like there's banter. We kind of give each other like a hard time about it. I don't have any ill will towards him or nothing like that. I'm like, yeah, we disagree on this particular point, and it's fun to argue semantics, or to argue the details of it, in my opinion. But because he's stubborn and I'm stubborn, and we're both passionate in just different ways, and so it is like an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, and that's kind of where the fun comes into it, I think. So at the end of the day, though, it's we both want to see more. It's just I realize that it's not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you said. I'm hopeful. I'd love to be wrong, but reality and realism tells me that right now there's absolutely no point.
Yeah, and the thing is, what sucks about that though is that the Nightmare stuff, man, from Zack Snyder's Justice League was awesome. I would love to see more from that. I think that could be a contained thing they could do. That would be. I think that would satiate me. By the way, that would satiate me if that was what they did. If they focus on if they just skipped right into part 2 and they just started off with the Nightmare world, and that's what they did for part 2 and part 3, I would be very happy with that. The budget would be lower. They could shoot it very quickly and get it done. The thing is though, again, it's like there are schedules. There are it does oftentimes take it like an act of Congress to get some of these things done, because everyone is working. There's so many moving pieces and parts all the way through, and they have to line it up. And sometimes it just doesn't. How many people drop out because of scheduling conflicts? And then you hear about what it is, and it's like they were doing a commercial for Dental Dam, but they had already just committed to doing it, so they had to go and they had to do it. That's how this stuff operates, though. It's not like it's personal. It's just that's the way it is. And the thing is, like I said, if looking at the 5 stages of grief, we're currently in bargaining.
Right.
And no, guys, 2 years, guys, come on. We can wait 2 years. We waited 4. That's half the time. We're good. And then the next is going to be like, no, he's coming back. He's coming. It's Rebel Moon is just Nightmare. It's what it's going to be. Prequel. It's just like he's taking his original Snyder Cut concept and he's putting it in a Star Wars inspired Kurosawa loving fiction, but it's there. Affleck is going to be playing the Night God.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? Like it's people. So I'm being hyperbolic, obviously.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Some people are going to get like that, and it's going to be this thing of just like, all right, well, like hopefully we'll all get something that we want. And I'm hoping fandom gives us something that we want. I'm hoping that they show us, more from the Batman, and they give us more what's going on in Gotham PD.
Right.
And and then talk about whatever's going on. Give us a trailer for Peacemaker. Give us more about that. What's going to be cooking up after that? Because I think
I just want to know what's going on with the Flash.
the Flash, Shazam, Black Adam.
Right?
There's a lot to see. That's going to be interesting. And that's what I'm down for. So anyway, thank you very much for that, Benson. I appreciate that. And hold on, Adam here says, came from Cinema Blend, who got it from Andy Signor, who reported it from We Got This Covered.
And that's how you know it's accurate.
That's here. Adam Berg. Oh, he says, I got a massive scoop. Nicholas Hammond, the 70s Spider-Man, it will be in No Way Home, that he got from Cinema Blend, who got it from Signor, who got it from We Got This Covered. Yeah. Who got it from Daniel Rickman. There we go. Right. So I'm just saying, it's like, there's a lot that can happen. But at this point, I'll tell you this, guys, I am so interested in, I think as much as I love superhero stuff, I'm kind of more focused on Marvel, because I know the quality that I'm going to get, and I know it's going to be good, and it's going to be expansive. But other than that, my interest has been in a lot of smaller films, there's been the Pig. I want to see Pig. Did you guys see the
Professor Pig, baby?
I want to see Pig.
Did you guys see Gotham? And I thought it was great.
Wait, what about Gotham?
Gotham the series.
I'm talking about the Nicolas Cage movie.
Yeah, come on, dude.
Oh, I'm talking about Professor Pig from. Okay, never mind. All right, guys, I'm gonna take off. All right.
On that point, Ty's like, it's fucking 4. I'm tired.
Yeah, it's 4.
But no.
For real though, I'm gonna.
All right, man. Well, yeah, I'm gonna wrap up here in a sec myself. I just wanted to see. Did you guys see this today? The new poster for
new Jordan Peele. Nope.
Yeah, great titles.
Get Out,
great titles.
Nope.
Yeah, so I don't even know what that's going to be, but that should be fascinating. And then also, M. Night Shyamalan's Old came out. That's getting good reviews.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Oh,
it's kind of like, and then did you see Snake Eyes tonight?
No.
Okay, I saw you tweet something about Snake Eyes. I did
a trailer reaction.
Oh,
I mean,
okay,
I am working for a website, so I'm going to be getting screeners. For certain things coming.
Well, I find it really funny about that. He's Geeks Worldwide, right?
Yeah,
dude. Casey Walsh fucking hates the Snyder Cut.
Of course he does. Yeah.
When this whole thing went down, he was out there fuck LightCast, fuck these guys. It was just his Twitter feed was lit up with shit.
Yeah.
I was like, yep, if there's blood in the water, dude, fucking here come the sharks.
And I'm doing it so I can get because I had a degree, and we wanted to start our own website, right? And I just didn't think it was in the cards yet. And I want to get some experience under my belt with the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it was just an opportunity that arose, and it's something that's convenient, and it's something I can do and kind of get something out of it, and kind of help my own channel, and also, do that. So I'm not selfish, but I might be selfish.
No, see, the thing is, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Once you get in on the screener stuff, they'll send you things. I get emails all the time for stuff I don't even care about. I get emails all the time for screeners or whatever. And sometimes I watch them, sometimes I don't. And it's kind of cool because you'll get sent stuff, and then there's there's the obligation to watch it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll also get over inundated with people it feels just like pop-ups and shit. Oh my God, fuck, I don't care about your documentary about, about other kid who want to live a peaceful life in the forest, while also still running a Tumblr blog. And it's just, it's fun though. It's definitely fun. I used to work for a website a long time ago doing gaming stuff, 20 years ago almost now. And that was a lot of fun. That got me into E3 for many, many, many years, got me into Comic-Con for many, many, many years. I've never paid to go to E3 or Comic-Con. That is usually the best thing. All those conventions, you can generally go as press. You go for free. It's you save a lot of money, and it's cool. So, there's perks to it, obviously. I'm in on the Netflix Media Center. I have a media account with Netflix, but I never request screeners. So I need to just email them because I was like, oh, I can email for fucking, He-Man, Masters of the Universe drops, right?
Oh yeah.
And then I'm like, 2 weeks ago, I'm like, I should really email them. And then I totally just fucking spaced. And I'm like, oh, it dropped 50 minutes ago. I got to go watch. Yeah, that's on there now too. And and that's going to be a gigantic shit show this weekend. So I'm going to have to probably watch that tomorrow and then talk about it tomorrow night. But on that note, let me just, quickly get to this couple super chats here. You guys can take off if you have to. I'll wind it down. It's all good. I know you want to get to sleep, Ty.
Yeah, all right. Guys, you can find us over on the Pop Culture Corner. We talk about stuff like Matt. We're always updating, and Austin has a great show on Tuesdays and Thursdays called Jiving with Jack, where they mix in a little bit of comedy sketches along with updating you on your pop culture news, which I always have to, request. So I have to get it reviewed. Because they mention things like Hitler and stuff,
Yeah, it's great.
It's great. I always have to fight for them to be able to get monetized. It's great.
I have to fight for Hitler is kind of how I took that part.
No. But you can find us over on Pop Culture Corner, guys. We're also on Twitter at @pop_culture 2020. We have a lot in the works. We're still in our Live in July, and Dexter, Lost, Supernatural, 13 Reasons Why actor Mark Pellegrino will be on the show tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. So stop by, ask some questions, and let's have a good time. All right, guys, I love you. You guys are the best audience that I probably have ever seen. Aside from,
thank you.
Enosh and stuff. Enosh and you have two of the best audiences. And
I'm very thankful for the audience. Yeah, and they do jump to a lot of different shows, and they're very engaged people, and they're awesome.
Yeah. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been so supportive and so just overwhelmingly friendly and nice to us. And these fucking hiccups, man, won't go away.
I appreciate you too, Ty. I like having you around, buddy. Got to have you on again. I got to go more on your show.
Yeah,
so we can figure out the timing.
People have been telling me, man, they're like, dude, you and Jarbo, I don't know, something about the conversations.
Yeah, I saw the comments. I
could listen to them all night. So, who knows? Something in the works, guys. I don't know.
I'm down for it, man. I love talking, and I love talking to good people.
All right, guys. That's Austin, and then you can plug the rest of the stuff while I go hiccup myself to death.
Oh, cool.
All right. Toodles.
All right, later, buddy.
Later, man, guys. Be safe.
Thank you. Get some sleep. Ty, everybody. Great guy. Love Ty. Real quick, I just want to get to this one. Benson here, another 5 pounds. Thank you. Says the Restore fans can't admit it's over, and as it will impact their super chats. Not that they are in this to make money. Whatever happened to accountability? Right. Oh, dude, that is a very hot take there, and I think it's very much aimed at one particular person. Look, here's the thing with that though, is I think a lot of people out there, I'm just trying to be honest about my opinion and why I think the way that I think. That's first and foremost what I do here.
And I think also too importantly is like you said, it's just the reality. It's the reality of the situation, as much as we want it, it's just
yeah.
Well,
I'll tell you guys this. The one movie that I wanted so bad that was in the works and then it just fell apart, and that was the Halo movie.
Mm-hmm.
The Halo movie. I mean, for one, Alex Garland wrote the script. I think he's one of my favorite screenwriters. With 28 Days Later Dread. And Dread, Extinction, Annihilation. Deus Ex, not Extinction. Deus Ex, or no, Ex Machina. Sorry, that's what
Ex Machina. Ex Machina. Yes.
And then Annihilation. He's a fantastic writer, and he's a very good director. And Microsoft paid him $1 million to write the script for the Halo movie. The problem though is they wanted too much control, and Universal and Fox couldn't make it work. But it's like we got District 9 out of that mess. You know what I mean? So you always have to look at if something fails and then something good comes from it, then it's like still it's a progression of art. And I'm sorry, as much as I want the Halo movie and I want Neil Blomkamp to direct the Halo movie, I adore District 9. That movie is one of my all-time faves.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, and me too. As I very much, that's been for me. I've even gone as far as to write out, scripts and stuff as to how I would, put out the Halo. Like Halo, that for me is the ultimate one. I want to see that brought to the screen. But I agree. I think at the same time, yeah, I'm happy we got District 9. I still really want to see if anybody Alex Garland take that on. And I know Showtime's doing a show with it. They're doing a TV series. So I don't know how that's going to turn out.
For Halo. Yeah. Well, now it's Paramount Plus. It's Paramount Plus. Yeah. I think we are going to get a teaser this weekend. Cause Comic-Con at Home starts tomorrow and the Halo show premieres in early 2022.
Yeah.
I know that. Anything. Yeah. and it's all about Master Chief John 113. And I'm a big Halo fan. Like, I don't know. Xbox is turning 20 in November, right?
Yeah.
And so they put out a tweet and they're like, what was the very first game you played on the Xbox? And I was like, for me, it was Halo at E3 2001.
Wow.
And I was 19. I was there. I mean, we literally slept in my friend's car in Chinatown.
Yeah.
We couldn't afford a hotel. Yeah. And I played CTF on Blood Gulch and I was in love with Halo. And I came back and I talked a bunch of my friends into spending the near $500 to get Halo. I couldn't afford the damn system myself, but I talked a bunch of friends into getting an Xbox when it came out, so I could play. And then one of them was like he was a year behind me or 2 years behind me in school. He actually he moved in with me for the last like 6 months of his senior year because he had issues with his family, but he brought his Xbox and I'm all like, that's kind of why I have you here, buddy. I love you to death, man.
Right.
But you go to school. I'm going to sit here, play Halo and Max Payne and Silent Hill 2 and all these other games and shit, but so I've been a big Halo fan. I can't wait to see what they do with this shit. And I mean, like, there's a lot that's like, I think when it comes to like failed projects or just projects that don't move forward, that is how Hollywood is. I mean, I remember when I was a kid going to see Super Mario Brothers for the first time, 93 when that movie came out. And I was 11 years old, and I walked out of that movie and I went like, cause at the very end, like Daisy knocks on the door. She's got like the gun and she's got like, she's all dirty and shit. She's like, Mario, Luigi, I need your help. And then it, it cuts to black. They get their shit. It cuts to black, and you're like, fuck yeah, dude, Super Mario Brothers 2. That never happened.
Never happened.
And I still unironically love Super Mario Brothers. That movie is not as bad as people like to make it out to be. They fucking attack that thing constantly, but it's like, no, man, I unironically love that movie. But it's like,
and dude, with Halo, it's kind of funny. I have kind of a similar story too with the Halo stuff because it was like that's the first Halo 3 was the first game that I ever played, and that was my cousin. Was like he was going off on his Mormon mission, and so he gave me his Xbox, and my mom was like super against video games and stuff, but he gave me his Xbox and he snuck me Halo 3 was the only game he had. He's like, here, you got to play this. So I remember every time she would leave work, dude, I'd sit in front of that TV for hours playing that game.
Yeah. That was the thing. Like when my first daughter was born, I looked at my girlfriend went back to work and I was home with her in the daytime and I was all like, oh, newborn, she sleeps all day, but I have to be right here. So I brought out my Xbox. I just got the Xbox One X and I was all like, dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I sat there like all day and played. And then I'm like, those were the good old days. Now I have 2 children and I don't get any of that time. And then real quick here, I want to get to this one. Command unit 15 shekels saying here, the people demand pigs.
Oh for Nicolas Cage's pig.
Yeah, that's damn straight. And then also another 15 shekels here says it's 11 in the morning for me. Good night, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out, dude. I always like having you around. Command. Jack just got here. Good morning, Jack. You came in right towards the end because we're coming up on the 3-hour mark. And that's been, again, every time I bring on guests, it always runs long. It always goes long. If it's just me and if like maybe one other person, I can usually squeeze it into an hour and a half. But then we get to talking and it's like, well, then time will pass and stuff, which is also why I like opening up the call lines and letting people call on in too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, it opens up for the conversation, and
yeah,
I mean, for me, I enjoy it. I definitely enjoy doing like panel stuff or just talking with other people, conversating with other people.
Sometimes I'll fully admit, like some panels, like I can't stand it when a panel is like fucking like 8 people, you know?
Yeah,
And then,
I'm with. I agree.
Like I've gone on some streams and it's like they just keep inviting people in. I'm all like, I can't get a word in edgewise. That's fine. But I'm kind of feeling obligated to sit around. I'm like, I kind of want to go play a video game or watch a movie or something. Not that I don't like you guys, but it's like, but if it was like 4 people,
right,
you can get a good,
yeah, exactly. Everybody gets to have their say, and it's just more fun.
Jack here saying, so Matt's saying don't have kids. I'm not saying don't have kids, as I adore my children because they are the apple of my eye and they are also the bane of my existence. That is also what it is for being a parent. No, my daughters are just fucking awesome. I love them to death. But it changes everything. That's the thing. Like, you do like one of the reasons why I Hollywood After Dark exists in and of itself is because like I usually do the food delivery in the evening, and then I have a little bit of time before bed. So I come and I stream. And I mean, like, I'll be honest with you guys, like the last 3 months I've been doing this most nights, the last couple months. So pretty consistent. And you know what? The super chats have been a lot of support, and it's actually allowed me, like I was going to go out driving tonight, even with the hernia, it fucking sucks. But I was I did well, and it did well last night, and tonight's been very generous as well. So it allows me a little bit of a reprieve to do longer and to not have to like force myself to like get it done. And that's great. And you guys have like no idea what that means to me. I'll tell you this though, Austin, what I want to do is kind of like, like Ty goes live all the time. You guys go live all the time. And that's great. That's a great thing to do. What I want to do is I would like to do this most nights because no one really does the late night shit. You know what I mean? Like
that, and that's, I say that all the time. I tell Ty that, I know obviously for him, it's 3 o'clock. But for me, like, and that's why I mentioned, I usually do tune into your stuff, and then sometimes it cuts in, like if some of my boys get off work and we play games or whatever. But yeah, a lot of times there's nothing to watch. There's nothing at this time. I think this is a great time to be doing shows.
Well, and I have a plan too, right? One of the things I got to do, I keep meaning to do this. I haven't done it yet, but I need to go on to, one of the great things about living in LA is you learn how to kind of reach out to actors and get like a lot of attention. Mm-hmm. And so I thought it'd be really funny to do. I have a voicemail line, and I thought it'd be great to like go out there and like tell people like, hey, send in your crazy, like, tell us your crazier stories.
Oh yeah.
About working on movies. Cause like, you always hear things. Like I'll tell you this one time I worked on a Doritos commercial. Mm-hmm. And, but it was for the, like Smash the Super Bowl. Right.
Okay.
So it wasn't an official commercial, but what it was is like they had a contest. If you shoot a Doritos commercial and it ends up getting picked, they'll air it during the Super Bowl and you'll get like, I think 50 grand or something.
Right.
And so a lot of like people in LA shoot these Super Bowl commercials, and these are like high quality. Like we're talking broadcast quality commercials.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the one I worked on was it was a parody of a slasher flick. And we shot it in Burbank in I think like November 2011. And the main guy, are you a gamer at all?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So like, did you ever play the game The Saboteur?
Sounds, let me look it up.
It's like it came out like in 2010, 2011, somewhere in there, or Uncharted, right?
Yes.
Uncharted.
Yeah.
So
oh my gosh. I did play The Saboteur.
Yeah. So the guy who voiced the main character was like the slasher in this movie, right?
Right.
Hold on, I'm trying to see if I can Saboteur. I like that. Fuck, the game was great though.
Dude, I cannot believe I actually remember. I remember renting this game from, or it was a Hollywood Video that we had by me. Wow.
Oh, holy fucking shit! It was Robin Atkin Downs who was the voice. That was the dude I worked with.
Wow.
I didn't realize that it was him. I think it's him. I'm pretty sure. Let me see. Video games. if it's who I think it was. All right, movies, video games.
Yep, Robin Atkin Downs. Yep.
Yeah. Well, was he in Uncharted 3? Uncharted. Yeah, he was Talbot. Okay. Yeah. So this this guy. I didn't know that it was him. Holy shit. We were talking about fucking. I told him I think we were talking about fucking video games for like 2 nights and shit. Really cool dude.
Right.
Did not know that it was him. Now I feel like an idiot because I hung out with this guy for like 2 fucking days.
Yeah, he was the voice of Savage in the Savage.
Yeah,
wow.
like that's
why he likes video games.
Yeah. All right. So here I found it. It got like, yeah, it's got like no. Oh my god, it's a 240p fucking commercial. But you know what? It's fine. Hold on. Did I see Ray Fisher's latest tweet? Oh my god. All right, hold on. I'll find that here in a second. Let me bring up. I unfollowed Ray Fisher a while ago, but so
he tweeted about Hamada or something like that.
Oh, did he? Oh my god. Hold on. Let me quickly.
Like, oh god.
Yeah, like here we go again. Oh, 7 hours. Okay. Jesus. All right. So this is a commercial. I'm sorry for the for the terrible quality, but we shot this in 2011. I forget the actress's name. She was very nice. This is actually, this opening shot here was, if I recall correctly, this was up. We were in like a park in Burbank. We got a permit to film in this at the edge of this cul-de-sac. It was kind of weird, but here, this is only 30 seconds. Check this commercial out.
Let's see.
Oh, you play hockey? Super fun. Okay, if I move this? Oh my gosh, Doritos. I can have some, right? I was gonna share.
So yeah. So it's a very quick thing. Here we try to find a shot. So this took us literally 2 fucking days. Right. They told me that like when I got brought in for this gig that this was going to be 2 nights, 5 hours a night, $100. So $10 an hour. It turned into 2 14, 15-hour nights.
Ooh.
For the same pay of $100. Now in this shot right here, I am in the vehicle. All right.
Really?
I am in the vehicle in this shot right here. You cannot see, but I was doing audio. I was a sound guy. So
okay.
I'm in the fucking trunk of this car right here. I'm in the trunk of this car. And and Robin was really driving and I forget the actress, but and they put they mounted a DSLR onto the hood of the car. So we shot this whole thing in 1080p high def, all that shit. But I'm in the trunk of the car and I had mounted the audio, the wireless packs, the lav packs in above them. So you can't see them and whatnot. But I'm in the car. So right now, if you guys, hold on, let me just all right. So I have my old, I don't have the camera hooked up, but whatever. So I have my headphones on. I'm in a hoodie and I'm I'm a big dude and I'm in the trunk of this fucking car. And Burbank has a lot of
Yes.
dips. And this is an old 60s Plymouth, right?
Oh my gosh.
And at one point, Robin, we drove around for 2 hours. I'm in the trunk of this fucking car. And they're messaging me are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, it's all good. And then all of a sudden he hits a dip and I'm unrestrained in the trunk of this car. I fucking slam into the top of the trunk, and I come down fucking hard and I hit. I'm like oh right. And then the car slams to a stop because he forgot I was in the trunk.
Oh no.
And so he forgot I was in the trunk. And so he slams to a halt and I slide back in, again, I just slide back into the fucking thing. And then I'm just sitting there going oh shit. And then I just hear on the walkie hey Jarbo, are you okay? And I'm like, get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah, Jarbo, you good? Okay, yeah, no, he's fine. Keep going.
Yeah, I'm just saying, dude. It was the funniest damn thing. It was a fun shoot overall. It was a really fun shoot overall. But
got banged around a bit, but it was fun.
Yeah, well, the director of this, he was actually working on. I don't know if he ever put it out, but he was actually working on an animated Tim Burton film, right? Like he was working on this animated, he was a big Tim Burton nut, and he had all the storyboards in his garage, his little home studio, about like Tim Burton, and it was going to be narrated by Christopher Lee. He actually had flown to England to get Christopher Lee to record the narration for this little short. And I don't know if he ever put it out. I'm hoping that he did, because that would have been cool. Let me see. Because Brian, I think this was the guy right here. I think this was him. Maybe it was. I got to find him. But anyway, dude,
could that be fun for somebody to call in and tell those kind of stories and stuff? I mean, I remember I did a Jason Bourne here in Vegas when that shot for a little bit, and that was pretty funny because they had Damon doing the actual stunt, driving the actual car on the strip scene. And one of the scenes, Paul Greengrass was, directing and calling out. Damon's driving, and Damon, I think it was like the first take, Damon was like insistent on doing the stunt himself. Yeah. And right on the first take, he misses and almost drives the car into like a ton of the crew. And so Green was so funny. Greengrass gets up and goes, all right, cut. Damon, go ahead. You're done for the night. We'll bring in the stuff. It was just the funniest thing, dude. Because Damon was just like, right before you could hear him, Damon was like, no, I got this. I'll be able to do this fine.
I've driven a car before. Like, you guys saw the Bourne Ultimatum, right? I drove down that fucking hill, the backwards and shit. That movie had no plot, but a lot of action. I'll tell you that. Those are always kind of fun. Some of the funnier stories that you get, like just like when I worked on the very first feature film I worked on, the first shot we did required the main actor to be naked, and but we were shooting a silhouette shot of his backside, so he was naked, but whatever, and so I had to go over. I was a key grip on the movie. And so the cinematographer is like, hey, the DP's like, hey, can you go adjust the light over there? Yeah. So I go and I adjust the light. As I'm adjusting the light, I'm like, he's naked. I'm avoiding eye contact. I'm not looking at him. I'm just adjusting the light. And then I'm eye level with this junk, by the way. Like I'm bent over and I'm like adjusting it, but I'm still eye level with this fucking dick. And then but then him being just a nice guy, because he was a really nice guy. His name was Gil. Gil just like turns. And like I just see his fucking shaft go, right? And like this dude's Brazilian, and it was like the hairiest penis I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, it was like old John Holmes 1970s Bush type shit. And he just turns and it just whiffs. And I'm like, I look up at him like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh hey, how you doing this morning?
Right.
I'm like, yeah.
What an introduction, right?
Yeah. I'm like, why isn't the girl naked? Like it was just, I was single at the time. I can say those things. But it was just, it was one of those situations where you're just laughing your ass off, because it's like, I'm like eye level with penis. And I'm like, why am I? And also, but I'm also in a fucking terrible, dirty, really dirty loft in South Central that, like, I'm not kidding you, in South Central, that literally the street shuts down at 6 p.m. All the businesses cease working. Everyone stops working. And then it goes from like loud car stereo installation companies to just pure silence. And it's creepy, because they would, as a grip, they would send me out to check on the cars. They're like, yeah, Matt, can you go down out there and check out the cars? I'm like, so you're going to send the fat white guy in South Central out at night? Yeah. I'm wearing an all blue crew t-shirt. Like, we're not in blood territory, are we? Like, I'm not, okay. Right. And the thing is, they're like, no, but everyone I met down there was actually really friendly. I talked to some homeless people and some other dudes walking around and shit. And like, my experience with being in those communities, they get a lot of bad rap, but there's a lot of cool people that live there. So, it is what it is. But like, anyway, I wanted to bring up here this Ray Fisher tweet. Does anyone know when Walter Hamada plans to come out of hiding asking for a friend? Come on, man. Like, what are you doing? At this point, what are you doing? That's like, then it becomes, I think people are kind of running. I think some people are running out of a little bit of giving a shit about Ray Fisher at this point.
Yeah. And Yeah, I mean that whole thing is.
I know. I wish the guy all everything that he everything that he wants. I think he deserves an apology 100%. But it's like, we're not going to see Walter Hamada again probably until DC Fandom, and even then maybe not.
Dude, we may not. I have a theory. We may not see him until he leaves.
Yeah. It's just going to be like there might be another profile in like Hollywood Reporter or something.
Yep.
And then also here real quick here, another 15 shekels from Command Unit saying the Saboteur was my fave. Great game. Would absolutely love there to be. Non-union job, Jay. 100%. Non-union job. Anyway, I'm getting told here I must see He-Man.
Yeah, I'm probably actually gonna watch that after Bad Batch will start.
Totally. Yeah, totally, man. I'm just. Let's see. Hold on. You were played like a fiddle. Yeah, about working on that movie. Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
About being in that car. Yeah, no, totally. It's all good. When you do those kind of non-union jobs, and trust me, I did a bunch of non-union shit. And that's when you are in LA, you start out by doing non-union stuff. It's literally like
how you get your start.
It's how you get your start. It's how you meet people. You have to, when they say pay your dues, that's like legitimately what it is.
Very real thing. Yep.
And
I got very lucky in that I guess I knew a lot of people. I went over there. I knew already a lot of casting directors and stuff like that. But
yeah, I was talking about this last night a little bit on Ty's stream with Charlie Talbert.
Yeah.
I when I went to LA, like I was like, I went with my friends one of my friends from film school, and then the guy who owned a studio that we had been working at in San Diego, like he actually closed down shop. There's a whole drama there, but he ultimately closed down the studio and he took his grip truck, which I fucking paid for, right? I bought this fucking thing and never been paid back, by the way. He fucking owes me like $1,000, but like, I'm never going to get it back.
No.
And so anyway, like I thought we would go work with him and he kind of made that his whole thing. I didn't have any money to like buy gear. So I'm like, I'll just be a grip. In San Diego, I got grip work quite often. I would be brought in 2-day contract jobs with production companies, local production companies, because they had the gear. They just needed the bodies.
Exactly.
And, but not LA is totally different. You have to have like your gear. And at the time, all these people were buying like the, what's it called? Like the fucking, it was the Canon 5D Mark II, right?
Yes.
Or like those were coming out, and like this Canon 70, those were all the rages. It's like 10 years ago, people were coming off of the Nikon D90s that had a maximum output of 720p. And then you get into now you're running 1080p footage and you got all, these different lenses and you get great depths of field. And it was a total game changer for that time. But those cameras and those lenses were fucking insanely expensive. And I even tried pricing an audio kit, right? I was going to buy an audio kit to at least compete to get work. It was like $5,000 for the audio kit. I can get all of that now for probably like $1,800, right?
Exactly.
But back in 2010, it was insane. So, hold on here. Ray, okay, real quick here from HWAD here. $5. Thank you so much, man. Asking, why does Ray want Hamada to apologize and not Kevin Tushihara? Yeah, it's a fascinating question. That's a fascinating question. But it has a lot to do with the fact that he thinks Hamada impeded in the investigation. That's what it is.
True. That's true.
But he's really should be talking to Kevin Tushihara. And that's I don't remember that name, but he always focuses on Jeff Johns, John Berg, and Joss Whedon. But notice ever since the ending of the investigation and the firing of Joss Whedon and John Berg's reaching out and apologizing, he has stopped talking about those particular people and instead is now going after Walter Hamada, which makes me wonder if Hamada has been making some phone calls and like potentially blocking Ray from working. I know
that could potentially, I could see that.
I hope not. I really do hope not. But it's like,
I hope not, but yeah,
it's like, all right, man, at this point, like Ray, I wish you the best of luck, but I don't care. I just don't care. I'm like, I wish you the best. I hope you're good at work. I think you're a fantastic actor. Would love to see you a Cyborg again. Clearly that's not happening.
Yes. No.
But again, people come back out, but if Zach comes back, he could hire. No. Studio has to approve. At the end of the day, studio has to approve. So, okay, hold on here. And then Real Elmo Cinema here with a $2.99 super chat says, Kermit Miss Piggy says hi. I guess that's the thing between HBarts and Elmo. They work together, like they're friends in real life. And there's definitely a bit of a competition between them. So right now we've definitely seen that, HBarts dropped to 5, Real Elmo's dropped to 3. HBart's here with another $2, putting him up to 7 over 3, saying here, would Feige hire Ray or no? I don't, you know what, maybe.
Actually, I could see that. I could see Feige jump in on that.
Yeah, I could see Feige going in and definitely getting, and picking up
see that.
Ray Fisher. Yeah, I think, and again, it's like if the role fit, I'll be fair. I even think that Ray has got the poise to do like a Black Panther. I think he could play something in that world.
Does.
And I would be very fascinating to see his take on the role.
I agree. Actually, I 100% agree with that. And that, or even, too, I was thinking about, with Kane and Jonathan Majors stuff, it's more than likely that our Reed Richards is going to be African American. So yeah. I would even say something like that, because Cyborg was very smart and intelligent and all that. I think that would be cool to have him try his hand at that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good characters with a lot of range in the Marvel universe, and the thing is they actually get utilized for the most part, whereas DC is like, maybe one day we'll get around to it. Real Elmo here says, I can't right now, and crying emoji. Dude, I'm just playing around, man. You're very generous. Thank you. And then HBarts here is asking, is he too risky though? Is Ray too risky for Feige? I don't think so.
No.
Oh yeah, no. If you cross Kevin Feige, you're done. You're done.
Yeah,
you're done. They're gonna take you. They're gonna take you out to the desert out by Vegas. They're gonna put you on the ground.
Yeah, there's
no one's ever gonna see you again.
Going full Vegas mob.
Yeah, it's no. It's at that point in time. Don't even worry about I don't think Feige seems like one of the nicest, most approachable people in Hollywood. He just wants to tell good stories. He wants to tell a cohesive universe, and he has his vision, and that's what he's working towards.
I'll be honest, of all the people in Hollywood, he's the only person that I feel like he seems the closest to people like me and you. In that he first loves these characters, and grew up with these characters and stuff, and he's a nerd. He's a nerd, and I love it.
Oh yeah, and you know what he loves more than Marvel? Star Wars.
What's that? Oh yeah, dude. I didn't know he loves it more.
He loves it more. He's admitted that he actually likes Star Wars more than he likes Marvel.
I would love to see his take on a Star Wars.
He's doing one, right?
I know he's doing one. I'm interested to see. Yeah, I'm very interested in what that will be and what that. Because he would be producing, because he's not a writer and he's not directing.
Yeah.
But I mean, is it a story that he's come up with, or something that he's had, or?
I believe at this point that it is the Taika Waititi Star Wars movie that's coming out.
Okay.
That one I believe is the one that he is producing. It's not the Patty Jenkins one for 2023. I do think that Rogue Squadron might be a one and done, kind of like Rogue One.
Right.
It could be like a one and done sort of thing, unless it does really well. Then of course Disney will sequelize the fucking shit out of it. But it's also possible that in order to build hype for the next movie, we might get something that's going to tie into it for 2022, 2023 Disney Plus TV wise, which would tell me that if that's the case, then of course it's probably going to take place post Return of the Jedi era, which is where they are right now, and where I think that's where the money is, and that's where the fans are. And the fans are really wanting it to be a lot of the Return of the Jedi stuff, they want Mandalorian and everything. And so it is just that. And then hold on here. HBarts $2 says Feige used to rule Italy. No. There's if you look up Kevin Feige Mussolini, if you Google it, you can actually
there's similarities.
They look very close. Someone took an image of Mussolini and they put Feige's Marvel hat on it, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. And then command unit here with 150 shekels, man. Thank you so much. Asking when is the surgery? I don't know yet. I have to wait until August 3rd before I can go in for my ultrasound. Sadly, the way that like I have I have health insurance, so it's like I'm good. The problem though is that like it's state health insurance and that stuff takes forever to get to where I need to get to. Like I had a doctor appointment for September for my diabetes. That was like they scheduled me in September, but thankfully when I called about the hernia, someone dropped out and they could get me in the next morning. So it's like, okay, great. That's why I have to go to urgent care if it's anything really crazy. Right. Like when I fell and broke my back, I had to go to urgent care to get the x-rays because I couldn't go to my fucking doctor's office because they were closed on Sunday. So you have to make concessions where you can, but the healthcare here in Washington is good. And I'm very thankful for it. So I should know more. I'm going to call the surgeon, the surgical company, the association tomorrow, and then talk with them about scheduling some stuff. And then it's like a 7 to 10 week recovery time for this surgery.
Whoa!
But it's like an outpatient thing. Like all they're doing is they're going to go in.
They just want you to sit at home and do nothing.
Yeah. And I think it was when I broke my back, I spent 2 weeks in fucking bed, dude. I had 3 mild compression fractures, and it's entirely possible that the ultrasound should be able to determine more about when the hernia formed, because if they can trace it back to, weakening the muscles in that area, that region from when I fell and broke my back, then that's like, I'm like, all right, well, I probably will have to go after the apartment complex. I haven't gone after I'm dealing with DoorDash insurance still, and they're fucking nightmare. But yeah, the whole thing's a mess. It's all a mess. And I just wish, like, all I want to do is like talk about movies with you guys. And then that's it. That's what I love to do. Yeah. And hang out with my kids. And it's like, like my daughter they like to play, and I'm like, you guys can't jump on me. And then picking up and like taking them to bed, like that shit's painful. It's discomforting because like, I'm really paranoid about like, I can feel where my intestines are kind of moving around, right? You want to hear the weirdest thing? This is true. This is kind of gross, but it's true. I actually can hear my digestive tract I can hear my digestive tract. So if it's quiet and I'm sitting there, I can just hear I can hear it. It's the weirdest thing.
It's kind of funny. I'm getting my gallbladder removed next week. So.
Oh wow, man.
Yeah. So I'm kind of in a similar space in that. My stomach makes some weird sounds, man. It makes them, Ty will attest. There's been streams that like just midstream I'll have to drop out because I'll just start throwing up randomly. It's not been fun.
Man. No, I'm like, it's weird to be getting closer to 40, and it's like, like I better start doing more shit. But in the meantime, I'm not in any pain. I'm just in discomfort. It's not the end of the world. I can still move around. I got like the girdle, to keep it all in place, and that's fine. I don't really care. I have no shame on that front, Right. But the reality of it is, it's just something that I'm dealing with right now. This kind of helps keep my mind off it. So I'm very much appreciative of doing this kind of stuff. But on that note, I do need to get to bed. It's 1:30. Right. I gotta watch Bad Batch. I try to get to bed before 2.
Oh yeah, no. For me, it's like 4. Already right now, the guys are texting me like, "Hey, Fortnite."
Like, oh yeah, I know. See, the thing is, 7 a.m. comes quick, and my children wake up. So
that's it. You got the kids.
It's like I mosey out of the room and I sit there on the couch as I'm waking up, and like they watch like Doc McStuffins or Ballast Baby or whatever the fuck is on, and I'm just sitting there like a zombie, just going, just fucking end me, just like, if they do anything, I can live through it, if they do anything, I can live through it. But it's like, let me at least try to like pass out on the couch for 20 minutes. And if they break anything, I'll wake up. But my youngest is a climber, and we have these gates, and she is now learning how to get over the gates,
climb the gate,
and also get out of her crib. So like tonight, for example, I laid her down with a bottle, my youngest one, and then my eldest one, she's in that pushback against bed phase, but we kind of wore her out a little bit. So she was docile and ready to go to bed. And I'm like, oh, great. Awesome. I'm going to get her down. I can shut the door. She's not going to freak out. I can go play Skyrim for a little bit. Word. Awesome. And then I lay her down, and I'm like, did you fart? And she's like, no, I pooped. And I'm like, really?
Oh, how sweet.
Really? Like right now you pooped? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, let's go change you. So then she crawls out of her crib, and like she goes over to the changing pad, and I'm like leaving my youngest one alone. I'm like, okay, she'll be fine. And then as I'm out there I leave the door open, which was my problem. Because then my youngest goes, oh, the door's open. It's escape time. And then she just up and over that crib. She's out the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. And then
It's like a scene out of a movie, dude.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to like wrangle both kids. And it's difficult to do when you can't like lift them simultaneously and carry them in like Schwarzenegger and fucking Kindergarten Cop, And it's like, holy shit. And I got them down finally. And then like, I put them in the same crib and I'm like, you guys are staying here. Cause they eventually they end up in the same crib anyway, because they're 2 and 3, like they're best friends. And so it's just, I'm like, oh my God, man, fucking Jesus. Just, I love my kids, but it's like, there are times anything's a hassle.
They wear you out.
Yeah, they totally do that right now. But all right, guys. Well, hey, be sure to go and check out Ty and Austin over on the Pop Culture Corner. I'm sure they'll probably come back anytime. You guys are welcome to come anytime.
Yeah, man.
And I appreciate all of you guys listening. This has been another fun episode. Watch you get a privacy complaint. If that's the case, fuck you, whoever is doing it. And I think I understand who that person is. Anyway, you guys have yourself a great evening. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Another episode of Hollywood After Dark. These 3.5 hour streams are fun, but fuck me.